And coming to you live here from King City, Ontario for the No Frills T20 Cup. It's going to be a cracker of a game as Canada take on Nepal. Canada coming off a heavy loss against Oman yesterday, and Nepal desperately trying to hold on to that lead on top of the standings. This is Manali Patel, joined alongside Vivek Jacob as we take a quick look at the fixtures coming up. Canada, Nepal on at the moment, followed by Nepal taking on Oman tomorrow, and then the final game, Canada-Oman going head-to-head. Well, it's game number 4, and overcast conditions here at King City, which means there's definitely going to be something in it for the bowlers. Well, just a little bit earlier, we had Andrew Leonard out in the middle for the toss. We're going to quickly run down there for a toss update.
So we're past the halfway stage of the No Frills T20 Cup, and it could not be tighter at the top. All three sides have one win apiece, and today it's the clash of Canada versus Nepal. The key men are alongside me in the middle: Nicholas Curtin, Rohit Paudel, and Mr. Niamor Rahul Rashid, our ICC match referee from Bangladesh. You're all very welcome, gents. Nick, give the coin a toss.
Heads is call.
Heads is the call. Niamor?
Tail.
It's a tail. What are you going to do, please, Nicholas, and why?
We're going to have a ball first today. Both air conditions probably dictate that we should have a ball first.
Okay, tell me about yesterday. That was without doubt your worst performance of this tour. How are you going to bounce back quickly and put that behind you?
Yeah, as I say yesterday, like the power play lost 3 wickets again, and batting first in the conditions was a bit tough. Trying to know like what a good score was, so hopefully today we can make use of the conditions, having won the toss, and then obviously the batters would know what they have to score and maybe put up a better performance.
2 T20s in 2 days, is that a factor for you, or is that something you're happy with and you're used to? Your boys are conditioned well enough?
Yeah, I think the guys are good. Obviously, we've been playing 50 over cricket before, so to come to the shorter format, albeit more intense. But yeah, I think the guys are good, ready to go today.
Finally, team news for me, please, today.
Yeah, so one change, Aaron Johnson out and Ravinder Paul Singh in.
Okay. Best of luck today. That's Nicholas Curtin choosing to win the toss. Have a bowl first. Rohit, what would you have done? Would you like to bowl as well?
Yeah, looking at the condition, we would have bowled first. But I think when we get a challenge of batting first on this wicket, I think you need to take up, especially when you're playing professional cricket. So I think we are up to it. And I think if you see last matches against Oman, I think the start which our openers gave, I think today it's very important. Once we get that, I think it's chasing on this wicket is not that easy. Once we put a good score on the board, so yeah, we're looking forward to that.
We're back to the same pitch that you scored that really, really high total, 170 plus against Oman. That's the highest of the series. Is that a benefit? What do you think of the pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the wicket is same, ground is same. The only thing is the overhead condition. But I think if you manage 2-3 overs in the power play and then you build a good partnership in opening stance, I think we can build a good score on board.
Importance of the win the other day for so many reasons, with everything that's going on back home and just also for your own confidence. It was the first win in over 160 days. What did it mean to you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. It meant a lot, especially after so long. We got an opportunity to put a W in our name. So yeah, it's always a good thing on ending up on winning side. So yeah, looking forward to do the same.
Finally, just quickly, any team changes for me today?
Yeah, 2 changes. Lalit Rajbansi and Sompal Kami are in. Dev Khanal and Rejan Dhakal are out.
Well remembered. Nice to see you as always, Rohit. Okay, that's the news from the toss. The Canadian side, they won the toss. They're going to have a bowl first.
Well, there you have it. The update from the middle is Canada have won the toss, and they're going to have a bowl first. Very important toss to win here, isn't it, Vivek? Especially in these conditions.
No question about it. When you look above, you look at the cloud cover, you look at how overcast these conditions look. The outfield likely a little slow, so Canada will want to take advantage of that. And now we've got the Nepal lineup in front of us. We've got a couple of changes. We've got Rijan Dakal and Dev Khanal out of the side.
tough game for Canada yesterday, and again, the toss, Canada have won it. They've chosen to have a bowl. Both Nepal and Canada would have liked to bowl first. Two changes again for Nepal today. Rajendra Kaul and Dave Kanal, they miss out as Sampal Kami and Lalit Rajbanshi come back in. Rohit Paudal, the skipper of Nepal, very adamant that had he won the toss, he would have also had a bowl first. It's going to be interesting conditions today. We haven't seen overcast during any of the T20s yet, so we're expecting some ball movement out there. Speaking of ball movement, the Canadian squad sits pretty with two of the most successful bowlers in that lineup between Kalim Sana and Dylan Haliger. Just the one change today for Canada, Aaron Johnson missing out and Ravindra Pal Singh joining the side, playing 11. And we look at those standings. Yes, Nepal on top by margins, isn't it? It's all come down to the net run rate. There's a little bit of rain in the forecast for later today. I don't really anticipate it being an issue during the game. But when everyone's so neck and neck, those net run rates are so important, especially if there's a slight chance of rain. The two umpires out in the middle, Rohan Shah and Arnold Medella, both Canadian umpires. But overall, I think just based on seeing how much it means to both of these sides to come out and win this No Frills T20 Cup, we're going to be in for an exciting contest.
Yeah, that win by Oman yesterday really sets things up nicely. You've got all three teams with everything to play for, and that's what you want coming into the back end of a tri-series like this, as we see Canada getting in those final words in the huddle and ready to take the field, led by their captain, Nicholas Curtin. It's good to see Harsh Thakur out there. We know he picked up a bit of a knock on his knee yesterday, and so he seems to have recovered. And looking at the change made to the side, Aaron Johnson has been struggling with his form and again unable to get going yesterday. Any surprise there?
It's been a tough one up at the top for Canada in the T20 setup, hasn't it? Both he and Navneet Dhaliwal have struggled. Now, Dilpreet Bajwa, who is genuinely an exceptional T20 player, slotted to come in at number 3. He's not been able to kick on in that first. Navneet Dhaliwal have struggled. Now, Dilpreet Bajwa, who his game yesterday involved an unfortunate run out, but something about the combination just isn't quite panning out for Canada with Aaron Johnson and Navneet Dhaliwal in the T20 setup. I mean, do I agree with whether Aaron Johnson should have been sat out today or not? Well, that's up for question. It really, sometimes form is a tricky thing, and you don't know how quickly you can jump right back in, you know. So it's been a struggle for both openers. It's definitely not been smooth going for Canada at the top, which means it's putting a lot of pressure lower down. But looking at the Nepal opener, it's been a struggle for both openers. It's definitely not been smooth going for Canada at the top, which means it's putting a lot of gameplay in the 50-over cricket. What T20 cricket, they've completely turned it on. In fact, the runs that they piled on against Oman 2 games ago for them, 170-odd on these pitches is very difficult. In case you're hearing what that background noise is, that's Canada geese. Yes, that's what they're called. Canada geese flying over top of our heads here. But they seem to be going north. I think they need to be going south, as we're right around the corner from winter.
That's true. I mean, it's not yet time for the jackets,
yes,
but
that's what they're called. Canada geese
reminding us that it's coming. Winter is coming.
They seem to be confused with all this warm weather we've had. They're going the wrong direction at the moment. We're right around the corner from winter.
But you're right. Nepal will be looking for a strong start here. Kalim Sana will be looking to deny that, obviously. He's been in some very good form. Picked up the Player of the Match award when these two sides met last, and we'll see if he can keep that performance here.
Deny that, obviously. He's been in some very good picked up.
Starts with a bit of a wayward delivery, and it's helped along the way by Anil Shah. Bit of a nothing delivery that. Anil Shah's off the mark, and we've just seen the first boundary of this innings. A little bit of movement there as well. Early delivery, and it's helped along the way by Anil Shah. Bit of a nothing delivery that. Anil Shah's off the mark, and we've just seen the first boundary of
Nicely
this
picked
innings.
away there. And just the start you want as an opening batter. Easy pickings onto the pads. And so we'll take that
The first boundary
nicely all day there. A nice little flick. And just to start, you want able to be as an opening batter. Easy picking man onto the fine leg. And
to business from Kalim Sana. Good line, good length on that occasion. Good angle as well, going across to the right hand.
alone.
But no surprises that Nepal have stuck to these two as their opening pair. Quite successful, getting a decent start against Oman. Well, half a shout. It looked like he was going down leg. 27 apiece to both of these openers against Oman as they gave their team a good start.
And now we get a look at this replay here. Where's that pitching? Might be outside leg, just outside. Shaping. That's putting question marks for Sa, because we've seen Sana go in, we've seen Sana go out. So he's got to be on his toes, trying to figure out which one's coming in, which one's coming out. And getting him on the back foot there, but he survives.
Oh, that's an absolute beauty of a delivery. Missing everything. Bat, stump, and straight through to the keeper.
Terrific delivery there. You look at Sana bouncing back exactly the way you'd hope for Canada fans after that first ball. Wayward first ball for easy pickings down to the boundary, but the 3 deliveries since he has tested Sa very, very well. And again, that ball shaping back in. Sa uncertain about when it's going away, when it's coming back into him. And he's been defeated a couple of times now, but still hanging in there.
Oh, poor delivery again. And it does race away to the boundary. That's 2 boundaries in this first over. Both deliveries quite wayward, going down leg.
Sana won't be happy about that. Pretty similar to the first delivery of this innings. You just let the batter off the hook there after a few good deliveries and takes the pressure off. You've already got now 8 off this over. And you try to come back here with a good delivery, but you know that Sa doesn't need to take any undue risk here with the final delivery, having got 8 off the over now.
Look, we're expecting the conditions to be difficult to bat here first. Overcast, and King City's normally difficult to bat if you're batting first. But that being said, the bowlers still need to execute the plan, because that's the other half of the battle. When you give 2 loose deliveries like that in an over, they've already got 8 runs on the board with 1 delivery to come. Still early days, but that confidence just starts to shift. Coming back into the right-hander, and that struck him. He's copped that one pretty well.
Anil is down for the count. He is... for a batter. Got the trainer out, checking up on him. Looks like he might be getting his win back.
I'll let you talk us through this one. Well,
it's tough.
While we get a replay going for you, 1 over, the first over gone. Nepal 8 for no loss, and he's back on his feet. Anil Sa.
Looks like the saws are in place, ready to go. Here's the replay coming in. Ooh. That has got him square in the saws.
Well, listen, we had this conversation a couple of days ago, and I just found it funny. I'm sure you don't find it nearly as funny, but...
No.
First over gone. Nepal 8 for no loss. I think Anil Shah is going to be happy that he's got the non-strikers for a little while.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any quick singles anytime soon.
It's Dylan Haliger, the big man, into the attack, and Asif Sheikh off the mark quickly. First delivery in, and he picks up a single.
We see Canada taking a bit more conventional route here. We saw the first two matches, Canada going with Parveen Kumar's left arm orthodox to open the bowling alongside Kaleem Sana, and now they go back to Dylan Haliger. Good to see him up and running after the ankle knock he picked up.
Well, this has gone straight down the ground, and it's going to go all the way. 6 runs picked up, and Anil Shah seems the least bit bothered by the injury that he got in that first over. Good pressure this to the big man, Dylan Haliger, though.
As we got to look at the replay here. Brilliant straight drive. Right in the slot and goes straight down the ground. Beautifully lofted over, and that's some sweet revenge.
Back live now and sent back.
That you want to see in T20 cricket, creating opportunities, putting the batter under pressure.
And there's the injury from the first over. Well, that is even better than the first one. Straight down the ground and 6 more runs. Anil Shah, he says, forget the overcast, forget the difficult conditions. I'm going to make the most of this. 6 more added to the total.
Overcast or not, a bad ball's got to go to the fence, and you look at this. Right in the slot. And Anil Shah taking full advantage of beautiful free
second over. As long as they keep going in a manner where they're safe with their shots, hit the right spots in the field, they should be all right. The last thing they want to do is take risks in unnecessary fashion, lose wickets, and that's kind of where things started to fall apart for them in the ODI series, isn't it?
No question. And especially here when you look at Asif Sheikh at the other end, having faced the one delivery so far, he'll be thinking, well, look at the way Shah's going. I'll just give him the strike. Shah's not taking any undue risk. It's been bad balls. It's been in the slot. He's been able to pick Haliger apart so far.
Oh, pulled away. And that's going to go for another maximum. That's 3 sixes in this over, and it's completely destroyed Dylan Haliger's bowling figures in his first over. 2 overs gone, Nepal 27 for no loss.
As we got to look at the replay here, another free-flowing swing all the way over deep mid-wicket to the deep mid-wicket fence. Just another brilliant shot from Shah. I mean, he is looking tremendous. 26 off 11, 3 sixes in the over. Haliger, 9.
Yeah. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your case.
Expensive second over from Canada. Runs coming off that Dylan Haliger over. It's not the best of starts that you want from your opening pair. He's not getting much movement now there either, Dylan Haliger. Kalim Sana, we've seen a little bit swinging it both ways, but they're both under a little bit of pressure here.
No question about it. Sana needs a strong start to this over.
Oh, that's beautifully bowled. Just that angle across the right-hander.
That's what you need right now. You've got Sheikh on strike, who had only faced the one delivery coming into this over. He wouldn't have a flow just yet, and so if you can just lock in here, maybe get Sheikh back in the pavilion, Canada has to see wickets as the only option to slow down this hot Nepal start.
If you're Asif Sheikh, you just need to get to the other end. That's it. That's all you need to do. Bring in Anil Shah back on strike, who is clearly seeing that cricket ball the size of a beach ball today.
No question about it. It's definitely not a day for the beach with these conditions, but Anil Shah is having himself a bit of a party. 26 off 11. As we mentioned, the 3 big blows off Dylan Haliger. And it's amazing, that first over, you get a couple of those deliveries that you can pick off on your pads, send to the fence, and it just gets you feeling good, gets you in that flow. All of a sudden, you feel like your body's moving well, and we've seen the effects after that.
I can tell you, I did not feel that way this morning when we had our little cricket match on the side there.
Well, you know what? There's not much I can say because I missed most of it. But
you got to practice once in a while.
Did not realize you would be causing yourself bodily harm.
I did take one on the finger. My pinky's got a little blood blister on it. Just goes to show you got to hit the nets even if you're retired. Don't want to make a fool of yourself too often.
No, we won't make mention of who was causing you those problems.
Listen, inconsistent balance on the outfield. Well bowled again. Kalim Sana, good length. Asif Sheikh thinks there might have been a single. And as we look at that, it's Kalim Sana who's grimacing a little bit. Just his landing foot, his ankle. Well, the back of his knee looks like.
That's the absolute last thing you want to see if you're Canada. Sana has been in tremendous form, not only through the ODIs, but kicking off this series as well with that man of the match performance. You see him pull at the back of his knee there. Landing maybe a little soft there. And he's already switching to around the wicket. Does not want to land on that spot again.
I didn't see you get into the action this morning. Their little cricket.
Well, I mean,
game. You know what? We need to use a strip that's not being used out in the middle at some point.
I think we're going to need to.
I think we're going to have the third umpire on us and the match referee on us so quickly.
And this is not what Nicholas Curtin would have envisioned when he gleefully saw the result of the toss and said, hey, we will put Nepal in the bat. Ideally, these first 6 overs, when you put a side in, you want to take at least a couple of wickets. 3 overs still to go after this in the power play, but it is all Nepal at the moment.
Oh, pulled away. And it should go to the boundary. A couple of bounces, 4 runs. And this time it's Asif Sheikh who is joining the aggression. Terrible way to finish the over. Nepal 33 for no loss. Turning out to be decent over until that last delivery for Kalim Sana. for Nepal today. And no surprise to see it, whether it's cloudy or sunny. You're going to find Nepalese support. Fans are out here. They're here to cheer their side on. As we take a look at that glorious shot into the leg side again.
Asif Sheikh getting on the board. Obviously, we've seen Anil Shah really take the Canadian bowlers to the cleaners. But now, if you've got Sheikh getting into the action as well, it's going to be even more trouble for Canada.
Boy, talk about zip. That's been given a wide, but some good aggression from the youngster Akhil Kumar. Taking that one short. He's got some pace as well. Quite skiddy off the wicket. Does surprise the batter with his extra pace.
And I think that's one thing when you look at the shots that have been played, the Nepal batters have not had an issue with the pace so far. And so Akhil Kumar, if he can add something a little bit different, give you that skiddy effect, maybe make something happen.
Well, this has gone up in the air, and it's going to land in no man's land. Top edge looking to pull that, and this is the effect that Akhil Kumar has, isn't it? Just skiddy, surprises you with that extra bit of pace that you're not expecting, rushing you into that shot.
And that's exactly it. That's probably the first time in the innings that we've seen a Nepal batter look rushed. And
might be leg buys. We'll wait on the signal. Just missing his line a little bit and helped along the way.
And this has been a problem for Canada so far. The release ball has been coming too often so far in this innings. There's a boundary ball coming every over. As we look at that on the hips.
Going down the ground again, but he'll find the hands of Dylan Haliger. Aggression very clear, intent very clear from Nepal today. Not hanging around. They want to make full use of these power play overs. Just the two fielders out in the deep.
And you never know how conditions might play
out on that to not get his pad out of the way or to get some bat on that on Anil Shah.
No question. That should have been easy pickings as well. He's been finding the fence with those pretty easily thus far. The first time he's missed out. But Akhil Kumar will also be careful not to go down that way again. And we see Sana move back.
It's going to be a dot to end the fourth. When you're getting a boundary or two in every over, it makes it quite difficult for the fielding captain as he rotates his bowlers some more, and it's going to be Harsh Tucker, the first introduction of spin in this innings.
Well, Tucker's no stranger to bowling in the power play, and Canada in desperate need of a wicket. So change it up, get some spin in here.
What do you think par score is on this pitch?
Well, I mean, the way it's looking right now, they're looking good for 160 plus, but that's not what you would have thought looking at the conditions and before the first ball was bowled. I think before the first ball was bowled, you were probably thinking something in the 130, 140 range. But this start right here, 10 runs and over off the first 4 overs, they should be thinking 160 at this stage.
Well, hello. Where is this going? It's going all the way for 6 runs. Slug swept from Asif Sheikh, and again the boundary.
Looks like Ravinderpal Singh, as we get back to the action, and Tucker responding with a dot ball.
That was a big 6, wasn't it?
No question.
Swept all the way over the head of Ravinderpal Singh.
And you can see Tucker now going quicker in the air, not wanting to give the batter time, and getting Sheikh on the back foot.
Backing away, trying to give himself some room. Asif Sheikh was fired in by Harsh Tucker. Not very far away from that off stump.
No, not at all. Couldn't get enough turn on that one, Tucker, to knock over the stumps. Mova sharp there to knock over the bails in case there was a chance. But it's just a dot, and Tucker will have to try and build on that here for this final ball.
It's going to be a dot to end the over. 6 runs coming off of it. 5 overs gone. Nepal 46 for no loss.
TD is supporting cricket in more ways than ever. Because we believe Canada needs more cricket. TD, ready for you.
Nepal off to the best start to this entire series. You haven't seen many hot starts in the power play, but what a difference a win makes to the confidence and to the belief of Nepal. And Asif Sheikh in his 50th T20I, first time that we've seen such a good start alongside Anil Shah, who's been really the standout, have given Nepal the most beautiful platform. Canada all at sea and all in trouble. They're going to turn to Parveen Kumar to try and slow things down.
Listen, not to toot my own horn here, Lenny, but what did I tell you in our pregame chat? Nepal, en fuego. That's Spanish.
En fuego.
That's Spanish for on fire. For all you French-speaking Canadians out there listening.
Well, I was
to end last match, and they carried that momentum over today.
I was hoping to welcome you, Matt Bonner, with a big build-up about how the Lambu Dai is joining the Taklu Dai, but you're too excited.
I'm so pumped.
You're pumped up. And so too are Nepal. They've been impressive, haven't they? They've really attacked Canada, and they're making use of these fielding restrictions. So in these first 6 overs, only the 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. More gaps, and we've seen plenty of big hits.
That's right, taking advantage of that power play. This is especially surprising given the wet conditions. You'd think it would favor the bowlers. But Nepal, there we go again, another 4 right there. Just lighten them up.
Lighten it up right here, Asif Sheikh. It's a little bit agricultural, this one. It's a bit lucky as well, being honest with you, because he's dragged this from a long way outside the off stump. The bottom hand has come through, not something you tend to want to do as a batter, but it's proved pretty effective as the runs continue to flow here. Canada, well, having been on such a good run, won 5 from 5. They were dreadful yesterday. I know you were down with the Toronto Raptors at their media day yesterday. You weren't able to join us, but certainly they seem to have just kind of flip-flopped, haven't they? The two sides, the roles are reversed.
That's right. I was at Scotiabank Arena for Toronto Raptors media day, keeping an eye on the match.
It's going to be 4 more. Finds the gap. This is quite brilliant from Asif Sheikh. And on fuego is the only description. They are on fire right now. And because it's a Tuesday, we don't have as big a crowd, but those that have come up here, the 100 or so, mainly Nepal fans, they're loving every second.
Yeah, take a look at this. Another nice piece of batting. Hits it 90 degrees, right? Threads the needle for another 4. But yeah, we were talking. I was shocked when I saw the result from the match yesterday.
Not just because of the position they have here, but their net run rate is better than the other two sides. And also, you'd imagine it that they could beat Canada today. All they'll need to do is get past Oman tomorrow. And they'll be the champions of this No Frills T20 Cup. It's a power play that has belonged very much to the visitors. The men from Nepal, they are riding high. It's 56 for none. Yeah, certainly the moment the floods have relented, but the problem is landslides and all sorts going on, particularly in the valley. That's the capital city, Kathmandu. Lalitpur as well, and the historic UNESCO World Heritage Site of Bhaktapur, which is one of the most beautiful places you could ever visit. All three of them have suffered damage, particularly the main river that runs between Kathmandu and Lalitpur. And you could almost see the emotion, couldn't you, from the Nepal players? We heard Rohit Paudel speak very evocatively pre the toss. And ultimately, this is only sport. There's many more important things in life, but there's no doubt that the win a couple of days ago has given the whole nation a real boost.
That's exactly right, and that's the power of sport. It's a unifier. It inspires people, and it's an inspiration and distraction for when times are tough. And for sure, that's what's going on in Nepal. We're having similar issues here in the U.S. and North Carolina.
Shocking, yeah.
From the hurricane, and it is, you can see the pride for these players from Nepal that they have for their home country during the anthem. They take a tremendous amount of pride representing their country and trying to, again, do something to make people feel a little better as they're going through that tragedy back home.
Yeah, and I think if you're wondering about what kind of young men they are, they're incredible ambassadors. It's not just the Nepali population at home, but the diaspora as well around the world. There's so many people of Nepalese origin, particularly in Australia, in the US and in Canada. And actually, just want to fill you in on one thing that the boys have done overnight. They met up with the NRNA of Ontario, which is the Nepali Non-Residents Association. As we get to the end of the 7th, the score 60 for none. No ad. And something that they wanted to do for the local. That is very much the kind of men you're dealing with there. Good ambassadors. They know that there is more to life than just the cricket on the field.
Yeah, you bring up that perspective that this is just a game. Something Coach Popovich on the Spurs would often bring up. Remember one year we lost a tough playoff series. Everybody on the team was pretty down going into summer. And in our exit meeting, he brought up 3 world tragedies that had happened in the previous few days. And we got
whipped into the
another
leg side. Yeah, going to be
right
four
there.
more. Finds the gap perfectly. And
But-
continues on this
One
hot
of the
streak.
tragedies was an extreme weather event causing landslides. Hundreds of people died in that tragedy. And then the last thing was a team in Texas lost a basketball series. And it's like, this
What does
isn't
it
life
matter?
or death. There's more important things out there.
You're talking about perspective there, aren't you? Is it hard when you're in the professional sport bubble, and it really is a bubble, it's a whole industry, particularly here in North America. You think of the kind of 365 nature of all of the major sports here. And I'm just wondering, is it hard sometimes within that bubble to kind of find that perspective and see real life?
For sure. And that's where good leadership like Coach Popovich is important. It's consuming. You're under a microscope. There's a tremendous amount of pressure. You're getting it from all angles. The fans, the media, the coaching staff. Your livelihood's at stake, plus the winning and losing. It can consume you unless you keep that perspective and understand at the end of the day, you're still just playing a sport.
And would you say the coaches, like you look at Monty Desai's kind of methodology to his coaching, he's someone actually was talking to last night in the team hotel, and he actually wants to come and have a chat to you because he's always fascinated at other professional sports and how they approach things. But it's a big job for the coaching staff, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a great quality, in my opinion, for any coach to have that's open-minded and wants to learn from other sports and other coaches.
End of the 8th, it's 66 for none.
TD is supporting cricket in more ways than ever. Because we believe Canada needs more cricket. Outside! TD, ready for you.
A really good start. Well, you wouldn't believe that they'd won all 5 games up until yesterday. These 4 overs from Sad Bin Safar, the former captain, could be very important indeed. Andrew Leonard here, alongside Matt Bonner. It's the Taklu die and the Lambu die. Yeah. Matt, I showed you that post that we didn't just have on your Instagram, my Instagram, but also up on Facebook. Can you believe the comments and the love from Nepal?
I'm honored by the reception from that post. Just being embraced by so many Nepalese cricket fans, it means a lot to me. I've never been to that part of the world, and I'm hoping someday if I get to see it, you constantly talk about how awesome the people are, how friendly everyone is, how beautiful it is.
Would you like to come one day?
I would love to come. I'm a curious person. I want to see and experience as much as I can this short time I'm on this planet.
Can I promise you something?
Yes.
So, firstly, it is one of the most special places in the world, bar none. It really is, and it's not just a lot of tourists who go there. They will only go to Everest Base Camp or Annapurna Base Camp or go on the treks or the hikes. It's much more than that. It's the cities, it's the culture, it's the people, it's the kindness, it's the food, it's the music, and it's everything about their culture. But I think something that you'd be staggered by, because if you actually look at the statistics, the world statistics, they are one of the shortest races in the world. So if you go there, like I stand out quite a bit, and I'm only just over 6 foot. So you, what are you, 6'9", 6'10"?
6'9", yes.
You would really stand out.
So what you're saying is I could dominate if I found a basketball court and got some pickup games going.
Oh, I think there's no doubt about that. But I would just love to see you walk through the streets of Tamil or some of the old historic areas of Lalitpur or Bhaktapur, and it would be like two men amongst one.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's probably not a lot.
Excuse me, and have a look at that. But yeah, certainly a lot of love, and I think one of the biggest things I've been struck by all my visits there, they are a very proud nation, more than 30 million people, and it's not just those 30-odd million in Nepal. There's probably a diaspora of Nepalese origin, particularly in North America, Canada, USA, then Europe and Australia, of probably 5 to 10 million, maybe even more than that. As again, good use of the feet. Can't beat long on. And they just love their culture. They're very proud of where they've come from, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely rightly so. You know, the more I learn about Nepal and the people there, the more there is to like.
You got to meet the captain the other day as well, didn't you? A good chat to Royal Pedal.
I did. Yep, I sure did. Had a heck of a match.
Hit in the air will get us to the end of the night.
The new A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. Let's go.
First stacker comes with a change of ends, and he's heaved away. Now there's a man out at deep mid wicket, and he takes the catch. Anil Shah was trying to keep going, but he's ultimately found the man, and that's going to get us to the drinks break with a wicket. He's played well, but ultimately he now has to go.
All the different variabilities in this sport, that's one of them, the air conditions.
Didn't quite get my eyes on who took the catch, but we'll get a second look here. It's a tricky shot to hit out to that side of the ground. 65 metres out there. Didn't come out of the middle of the bat. You can see almost the bottom corner. And I think it might be Akhil Kumar that has held on. So that'll get us to the drinks break. We'll take a break here too in the commentary box. Nepal have had a brilliant start, but they've lost their first. It's 70 for 1. So, welcome back after the drinks break. Anil Shah has fallen, but he's got Nepal off to a hot start, as it will be the captain in at number 3. Now, this is a change. The reason this is a change, we've seen Dev Kanal go out of the team, and Powdell's probably back to, in this format, his best number. He's taking a bit of the responsibility himself.
Yeah, and you talk about this series, the ups, the downs, adjustments, the chess match that the coach, is it the coach or the manager?
It's actually, the manager's really more of an administrative role.
Yep.
The manager's really just kind of filling out the paperwork, making sure the team bus is on time. He doesn't really have any cricket involvement. There's the occasional exception. But this goes back to the thing I was telling you the other day. The captain is almost alongside the head coach. He's almost like they're kind of almost joint head coaches, not quite to that extreme, but the captain role in cricket, it's quite simply massive. And for a man so young, remember he was the youngest captain in T20 World Cup history, leading Nepal down in the USA and the Caribbean. He kind of seems to take everything in his stride.
Yeah, and it's important. You mentioned how important it is having a captain that has a pulse on the game, understanding what adjustments to make, especially in a series. You know, in an NBA playoff series, the coach that can make the proper adjustments from one game to the next, it can be the difference between advancing or getting eliminated. And I'm sure it's no different in a situation like this where you're playing the same team more than once.
And you've got to make those big calls. They've made big calls today, 2 changes, and they've been good changes thus far. Get us to the end of the 10-over marker. Manali Patel will come in.
Runs flowing quite readily for Nepal. And Canada, despite the breakthrough, they've got a lot more work to do here. How's it going, Matt?
It's going great.
Back from basketball yesterday into cricket again.
Yeah, and I'm excited. This is a huge match right here. I mean, everyone's huge at this point with everybody tied with 1 win and 1 loss. It's anybody's series. I thought these were the 2 sharpest teams thus far, but Oman surprising everyone yesterday with that win over Canada.
It was a big win, wasn't it? They dominated every facet of the game between bat, ball, and fielding.
They sure did.
It's also exposed some weaknesses for Canada, hasn't it? Especially in that batting lineup. And today, Nepal are exposing some of those bowling issues. The opener's quite ineffective today.
Yeah, I mean, Canada seems to have settled in a bit and righted the ship, but you wonder if there's too much damage early to overcome.
Well, 76 runs on the board. We've just passed the halfway mark. I think, and that's going to be a soft dismissal. The second wicket for Nepal falls, and it's Asif Sheikh, leading edge, and a very good catch by Saad Zafar, diving to his left. The softest of dismissals to pick up the second wicket here for Canada.
Yeah, and that's the defensive performance we saw from Canada in their first match against Nepal. Making big play after big play. Of course, Canada in a different situation today. I believe Nepal batted second in their first match. Take a look. Nice reaction time right there. We'll call it a diving catch. Whether he had to dive is up for debate, but he made it look good. Wanted to get on the highlight reel.
Well, it's definitely slowed down for the replay. That did go to him quicker than what you see on your screens. Leading edge. He does well. He finishes with the dive.
Yep.
But a big wicket this, as Nepal have now not the most convincing of fashions to play that ball first up for him. Just popping it up in the air, falling short of Nicholas Curtin at extra cover. I think the bigger issue here is, yes, the Canadian bowlers have struggled to pick up more wickets early on. They're 2 down here, Nepal, and 2 new batters, which means there's a bit of rebuilding that'll have to happen. But when you've got 76 runs on the board, plenty of overs to come. We'll come back to this after the quick break. 11 overs gone, 77 for 2. Not more, given that they've got Gulshan Jai on the side, who played an absolute blinder the last time that he batted. 40 runs, 17 balls. Canada's batting has struggled a bit, hasn't it?
It has. They hit a rut. And it goes back to what we were talking about. I mean, 2 things are going through my mind. One, just as an athlete in a team sport, how contagious hitting well or not hitting well is. And then also the variables with the condition of the pitch. Something I didn't really understand coming into this broadcast series. But walking around there today, feeling the 80+ % humidity, it's overcast, the sun's not out, which makes the ball look different, and the ground's so much wetter, and it's probably not going to dry out because the sun's not out. It's like, man, there's a lot going on that these players are having to constantly readjust for.
The conditions definitely difficult, especially from a batting perspective if you are put into bat first. But Nepal have been impressive despite the conditions, despite the challenges. We've got some dew as well, as you mentioned. Oh, this one might be another wicket, and it's going to be Ravindra Pal Singh taking a very good catch in the deep. The third wicket goes down for Nepal, and it's the skipper, Rohit Podal.
Canada picking up the defense. Got off to that slow start, but like I said, have really steadied the ship. Another nice play right here. Good positioning. Oh, you see the batter just pop it up. Got a little bit too much under it. Slices it. I can't imagine how much spin was on that, but he makes that catch look really easy.
Quite good in the field, Ravindra Pal Singh, as Nepal now 80 for 3. Rohit Podal walks back for 4 off 6 deliveries. And it's big problems here for Nepal, having lost the 2 openers who were going well, and now the skipper.
I'm sure Canada watched the match against Nepal versus Oman and saw Nepal get red hot in those last 5 overs and put up a ton of runs. So you can't have any let up or relaxation if you're Canada in the field or bowling.
Harsh Tucker has changed things around for Canada. He's bowled well, and he's asking questions. It's going to be the end of the 12th over. Nepal 80 for 3.
The all-new Nissan.
Sad Zuffer comes back into the attack. Such a veteran of the game for Canada, Sad Zuffer. And
Wow.
He's got some turn out there as well.
See that ball kick when it hit the ground?
Just gripping the surface, spinning sharply into the left-handed Kushal Malla.
Yeah. No choice for the batter but to just play defense on something like that.
They've steadied the ship after some back-to-back breakthroughs here, Canada, giving themselves a bit of a fight back. Last thing you want as your batters is to come out and chase a big total. Well, that's popped up and just wide of Sad Zuffer.
Some nice bowling going on right here.
There's
Spin.
And there's something in this pitch. The ball just seems to be getting that extra bounce, but also holding up a little bit because they've checked their shots a couple of times now.
Yep. Lenny made the comment after the first 5 overs that Canada was in a huge hole, but...
Well, gone for the big hit here. And that would have been a stunning catch at Nicholas Curtin. Got it in his hands. Definitely a very good effort. Questionable, that shot at this time of the game. You know the ball's not coming on well. You know you're struggling. And then you decide to have an absolute hack at this.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just saying, I got to take a shot here. We got to get something going, get some energy, get some momentum. Lucky you didn't get out there.
Well, it was interesting because it was Dilpreet Bajwa running in.
Yeah, you think that would be easier, right?
Exactly. So I'm not really sure what sort of communication would have happened between the two there. We're going to end the over with a single. 13 overs gone. Nepal 81 for 3.
Is giving back to the community and making sure that the community is taken care of. We do a lot of that at our temples, and
just want to take a look at that catch again. The catch that was out of the reach of Nicholas Curtin. Now have a look at this. We've got Dilpreet Bajwa running in and Nicholas Curtin running back. And I think if there was any sort of communication, it would have been Nick maybe just going for it a bit too hard. I would have said Dilpreet would have had a better chance running in to take that catch.
I agree, but also you don't want a collision. And if a player's running backwards, he can't see the player behind him. Well, I agree, and you don't want a collision there. That would have been bad for everyone involved. And you got to remember, when you're running backwards, you can't see the player behind you. The player running in can. You got to be super aggressive calling off the player going backwards, but it didn't happen there.
Into the leg side, Kushal Burtel, who's come in after the wicket of Rohit Podal. He's picked up his second run. Bit of a rebuilding phase here, but what we do know is Gulshan Jha is yet to come. Dipender Singh Airy is yet to come, and Gulshan Jha, after that 40 off 17 deliveries, the blinder that he played against Oman, it's a very good bat, isn't it? Such a youngster as well. So much more cricket ahead of him. Be interesting to see if Nepal bring him up the order today.
It will be, especially in this rut. You want to try to get some energy, get some runs going. They're probably looking at the bowling lineup.
Well, there's definitely something out there for the bowlers. That one staying low.
Yeah.
Not easy conditions to bat on. In fact, you got to give credit to the two openers of Nepal who made it look as easy as they did.
Just nothing.
Great comeback from Canada here. Good fight. It's always great to see the game swing from side to side. The momentum just shifts here and there. Makes for an exciting contest. Going across the stumps, and this has gone high up in the air. That's going to be the fourth wicket as Nicholas Curtin gets comfortably under that catch. It's Kushal Malla, and the wheels are starting to come off here for Nepal as the approach is starting to fall apart.
Yep, just not enough on that one. Routine catch, fielder in the proper position. And you said it, it's amazing how fast momentum changes in these T20 games. I was saying earlier, after the first 5 overs, Lenny saying, man, Canada's dug themselves a pretty big hole. They might have already lost the match, but they fought back. Things are under control for them.
4 off 12 deliveries.
Yeah, and we'll see if those conditions uphold when they switch sides. We see if Nepal's bowlers can take advantage as well. We'll have a better idea. Is it the conditions, or is it the bowlers actually doing the great job, or is it a combination?
Well, we've asked for him to come up the order, and it is going to be Gulshan Jha walking in. This might be a good move from Nepal, knowing that he's in form and he strikes the ball well. 83 for 4 in Nepal with 1 delivery to come. And you're right, it's a combination of tough conditions, some decent bowling, and some poor batting. Off the mark. His first delivery, as we see the end of the 14th over with that single. Nepal is going to be 84 for 4. After a solid start at the top, first 9 overs, 70 for no loss. We're now at 84 for 4 and 14. They've lost 4 wickets in 14 runs, or 4 wickets in 30 balls for 14 runs.
That's wild to me. As someone who's seen way more cricket than me, is that pretty insane?
Shocking. And you said, was it a combination of good bowling? Is it a combination of conditions? Well, the last few wickets that we've seen, yeah, the conditions are difficult, but the shots have not made sense to the conditions and to the position that Nepal are in. Losing early, like back-to-back wickets, and then to go out and play some of the shots, some of the loose shots that they have, just doesn't make sense. I think the point of the game that they're in right now is try and hold it together for 2 overs. Still rotate that strike. Pick up your singles, your doubles. Give yourself a foundation. So when it comes down to your last 3-4 overs, you've got 2 set batters who are seeing the ball well and who can still launch it.
Yep. So it's execution and decision making.
Just changing gears. Yeah. I can assure you it's hours of practice.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of the T20 game.
Getting stymied by the bowling of Canada. They definitely got them on their heels. Second guessing, off balance. Just no rhythm for the batters.
Solid comeback here for Canada after a runaway start from Nepal. Thick edge. And a good effort. Navni Dhaliwal doing the job, keeping it to just a single.
It's a nice play in the field. Like barrel rolled into that beautifully. That, if I did that, man, you'd have better have the trainer ready. I'm injuring something.
Not a lot of rolling in basketball.
No.
That one again, some turn. Coming into the batter. It's going to be a single to end the 15th over. Nepal 88 for 4 as we work on some roll, tuck, and dive with Matt.
As a business owner, you have a responsibility to give back to your community.
We hire local and we serve local.
Breakfast program, school program for kids.
Seniors bus program. Providing transportation to and from the store.
Well, it's all gone horribly wrong here, hasn't it, for Nepal after the most perfect of starts. Biggest power play of this No Frills T20 Cup. Unbroken partnership of 70 between Anil Shah and Asif Sheikh in his 50th T20I. And then the spinners have come on and just turned the game on its head. We said Sadbin so far as 4 overs would be key. Parveen Kumar's have proved important, as have Harsh Thakur. There's a real sign of these wickets starting to tire and get more and more difficult to bat on. Remember, Nepal have gone with the extra spinner as well, with Lalit Rajbanshi coming into the team, and they have no shortage of spin options. So even if they can scrap up to 130, 140, that could be a very good score in these conditions. Andrew Leonard here to guide you through the last 5 alongside Vivek Jacob, who was very adamant in his prediction of a Canadian win before the start. As the inside edge is found. Is this game right hanging in the balance? How important are these final 5?
To be honest with you, about that first power play.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? It was really aggressive and positive. The problem is that, again, they've got Kushal Bertel in this new role. He's batting in another new number, at number 5 for the first time today. Jazz had the most brilliant tour. He's actually been the hero, hasn't he, for Nepal. But if they don't get up to 130, God, maybe 120 could be defendable, but they need 130, 140, don't they?
And it's also feeling what that power play did and then letting that slip.
Is it going to be a case that when the pace comes back on the ball, even despite Kalim Sana's brilliance, that they're the overs that Nepal will have to target?
No question about it, because you look at the job the spinners have done, they've been absolutely immense. Harsh Thakur obviously coming in and breaking that opening stand, which was much needed. And then Saad Bin Zafar getting into the act, Parveen Kumar getting into the act. And so the spinners have really pulled this back for Canada at one stage, looking well out of it after that power play.
Yeah, that's one of his favourite strokes, isn't it? The slog sweep. Parveen Kumar interested? Nothing. No support at all from Sherry Boba behind the stumps. Big surprise yesterday for you, Canada?
Yes, the manner of the defeat. Naturally, I think, any side can get beat on a particular day, but it's just the manner. And you look at Praveen Kumar pitching well outside leg stumps, and no chance of an LBW there.
I'd expect Shaquille Ahmed to appeal for that. I wouldn't expect Parveen Kumar to do so. Yeah, it's definitely a case that as soon as the pace has come off the ball, these wickets, and it's no surprise, we're into October, remember, at the very end of the season. End of the 16th, it's 94 for 4.
The new A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger.
Let's go.
Juicy grass-fed beef topped with Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips. Let's go. Try the new A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. Let's go.
Not coming back since. Was he maybe feeling the effects of the ankle a little bit? Is that part of why he came off, or was it just the 3-6s that he was tonked for? And so we'll see if he comes back into the attack. But big moment here as Kaleem Sana returns to the attack, and they'll feel that a wicket here is going to be key. And Sana, we've seen, he likes to bowl the 17th and the 19th and set the side up nicely.
Yeah, look, he's a gun bowler. He's a world-class bowler, and whatever the conditions, you can see him there, 2 overs for 14 right now. But Gulshan Jha, who is going to be the key man, it's kind of almost the most informed batter for Nepal versus the most informed bowler for Canada, particularly in the T20s. I know Dylan Haler has been brilliant in the ODIs. So 4 overs remaining. Here we go. Now, half a mix-up, and the throw wouldn't have mattered if it was a direct hit. Awful lot happening for a dot ball. If they get a run of ball from here, is that enough for Nepal? That would get them up to only 118.
I think conditions-wise, I would say you'd expect a tight game. I think with Nepal's bowling, as you said, getting the extra spinner in the side, that can pose problems. And, of course Canada opting to have Aaron Johnson out of the side, so we'll see how the new opening pair, likely Dilpreet Bajwa pairing up with Navneet Dhaliwal at the top, goes.
Hit down towards us. We could be in the game. Oh, just to my left. I thought I was in for a catch here in the commentary box. Instead, it's into the DJ booth. Well held in there, sir. It's Gulshan Jha again. Maximum.
Brilliant, and this is what we talked about, the matchup, key matchup here. And you look at that in the slot, and Gulshan Jha wasting no time getting after it and sending it straight down, long on, and the DJ worried for a moment, and that's probably why we didn't hear any music for a little bit.
And when I say well held, sir, I mean well ducked out of the way, duck and cover. Oh dear, I think his equipment remained unstruck, because I think it's actually hit his chair, isn't it? It's kind of, I don't know if we can get that replay once more, just of the ball going into the DJ booth, but it's basic. I think it's missed everything. Have a look at this here. Oh, that's not the one we want. We'll come to it in a moment.
Was a good comeback from Sana, though.
Here he is here. Keep your eyes peeled. Look at all the expensive equipment in there. I think it's missed it all and gone straight through and hit the blue seat. You can damage those. They're used to that. They can take the hit. Get your hands out, man. Take the catch.
He's not used to it. He's not used to it.
Was well struck and it's too wide. You look at the kind of, I know we're still early in the series, just the 4th game, but you look at the top performers. Leading run scorer, Anil Shah, Shoaib Khan, Asif Sheikh, 77, 75, 65. Aki Bilias, top of the wicket takers charts, and then Lamachani and San in second. So they're all good performances, 5, 4 and 4 wickets. Harsh Thacker's been exceptional with his economy rate. But the best batter in the whole tournament, they're striking at a strike rate of 137. That's Anil Shah, with the exception of one man. Look at those numbers for Gulshan Jah. Striking at 195. Exceptional.
Brilliant. And we saw that devastation against Oman.
See it on show again here. As again, his positivity, he's right from the moment he gets out there. I know he's only 12 off 12, but they're in difficult conditions. He's always trying to score.
No question about it. And that's the role he's been given. He comes in these situations where he knows he's got to get his side to a competitive total. He knows he's got to be the one that swings the game effectively. And mark.
A little bit of innovation attempted by Bertel. It's going to take more than this series, isn't it, to find out whether or not this is a role that he can perform. He's played 45 T20 Is. He's open innings at every one of them. He's now into just his
at the back end of the innings. You don't have to worry about as much movement.
Just that difference, isn't it? 2 out rather than 5 out. So you can get singles, but Jah does get home here, rightly sent back by Bertel. We'll come back to that. 17 bowled, 103 for 4.
The all-new Nissan Kicks. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your Kicks.
.103 for 4. The game, it definitely hangs in the balance. So too, potentially, Vivek, the fate of this No Frills T20 Cup.
Exactly. As we came into this day, all three sides with a win apiece. As we take a look at the standings, and it's just net run rate that is separating the three sides. Canada obviously taking that heavy defeat against Oman that you would not have anticipated coming in, and so they've got
tournament, but they'd need Nepal to lose tomorrow to Oman. And this is a big call, a really big call from Nicholas Curtin. He's not using the experience of Dylan Hayliger. He's going to Akil Kumar. There will be pace on the ball.
look at Kumar when he replaced Hayliger. Came in with a bit of that skiddy bounce, and he did seem to rush the batters, the Nepal batters, for the first time in the innings. That we saw a Canadian bowler do that, and then of course the spinners came in and did their thing. So Nicholas Curtin will be hoping that Kumar can have a bit of that skiddy effect here, and going full pitch with that first delivery. We'll see if that's the plan for the rest of the over.
Yeah, the problem with looking for the block hole is if you miss it like he did there, that was pretty much in the slot. I think Kushal Bertel's missed out on that one. And it's only a 57-metre straight boundary at this end, remember, the north end of the ground. Tries to get it into the block hole. Can't quite in a misfield. May well allow the second, so Jah will scamper back. Not a particularly good piece of field in there. Didn't see who it was.
No. Navneet Dhaliwal.
Mid-off there, Navneet Dhaliwal with the fumble.
And again, going full pitched. Seems like that will be the plan. But you've conceded 2 off each ball so far. Akil Kumar
to the leg side. Didn't open up and try and hit over the off. As a consequence, he was coming right across the ball. And not for the first time in the series. It's going to be another batter caught out for an unlucky 13.
And looks like we've got Rupal Sidhu coming into the field to do some work there. Take a nice easy catch. We look at that. The element of surprise maybe with the short ball after a couple of full deliveries. And rushing with the bit of that skid for Akhil Kumar. And an easy catch for Sidhu.
Bertel, the latest to fall. It is now 107 for 5.
New A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. Let's go.
In the last game against Oman, picking up 18 off just 5 balls. Need to do something similar today to get Nepal up to. Being tempted into that throw, concedes an overthrow. Crucial second run.
And all these little mistakes can add up. You look at this potentially looking like a very tight match. Nepal in a decent spot still because of that opening power play, but Canada pulled back nicely. Full advantage with those 3 sixes in the over.
So final ball of the 18th, 110 for 5. Gulshan Jha hits exactly where we wanted him to hit. And
was way over a long off into the protective covers there. And you need that one to keep it in play, get that ball back.
Get 3. Oh, brilliant from
extra runs when they should be preventing as many as they can at this stage. You look at it, 8 off these first 3 deliveries from Sana, this penultimate over, this crucial over. Cleanly.
speed of Irie. Frightful. As 2 are the quick hands as he slashes this one away. He's going to jog back for 2. Others there, they would have, particularly after running 3, barely be able to catch their breath. After play the other minutes after winning their first game in 160 days, Dipender Singh Ari, who dropped a catch, and wrote, Kushal Bertel, straight out to Jagat Tamata. They took over an hour of fielding. They were exhausted at the end, and then at 7 o'clock, straight to the gym. Just phenomenal work ethic from Nepal. Absolute sight to behold.
That's better from Sana. A crucial dot at this stage of the innings. And logical feeling. And you'd still feel, to pull it back under 140. I was thinking after the power play that Nepal might even be thinking 160 with that start.
They probably were at that stage, but ultimately if they can get to 140, that could be a winning score, I suspect. Can they get 2 again? You would think Irie will just come in and out. And he's almost teasing the fielders by just jogging, and they might think of a 3rd, but they won't get it this time. As
in more ways than ever. Because we believe Canada needs more cricket. Ready for you.
So 1 over remains. Get a quick look at the bowling figures.
See Helliger at this point, a senior player on the side. You know the value he's brought during the ODIs, and then unfortunately picking up the ankle injury. He'll want to make a mark. He'll want to get back to the form that he has shown during this home stretch for Canada. And we'll see if he can bounce back from that dreadful first over where he's picked off for 19.
Well, they'd probably be happy with 12. They're not going to be greedy and want more than that. Can they get to 140? 1 over remains. Ja helps that into the offside. It'll only be a single this time, but I was just going to give you his numbers before we got interrupted by that 3rd run they scampered. His innings thus far, he's at the non-strikers end here on this tour, 15, 53, 34, 40 not out off 13 balls, and now 22 off 15 today. That's to go with a total of 9 wickets. He's taken wickets in all 4 games that he's bowled in. What an exceptional tour from the young all-rounder.
And that's so key in this format, having all-rounders that can contribute and be key with the ball. Know as a captain that when you throw him the ball, you can get a wicket. Not just get, can I get 4 overs? Can I get a couple overs? No, he's going to get you a wicket.
Good length. That's the length that Hayligger couldn't find early. They will get through for the extra. Should be a leg by. In fact, given his runs, might have been some glove involved. Arnold Medella
mentioned that all-round ability, and then being able to get it done with the bat once again. This is a crucial knock of 22. You looked at Canada with the spinners really pulling things back and seizing the momentum. Gulshan Jha has done his part to bring it back for Nepal.
Good bowling. It's a heavy, hard length. Do you think that this pitch is going to take a lot of turn again in the second innings? It's strange on such an overcast day to be talking about the spinners.
It is, but I do think that's the way this series has played out, and that's the way today will play out. We've seen how effective Saad bin Zafar was. Harsh Thakur, obviously the one who
He gets this into the leg side, but it's a longer boundary. The man's right on the rope, and he takes the catch. It's Akhil Kumar who gives Dylan Hayliger a wicket. You cannot blame Dipender Singh Ari for looking for the big hit, but it just didn't quite have the time, and he would have liked probably off the upper half.
Now we take a look at his fourth going short, and we see Ari sliding over, trying to give himself that leg side option as he pulled it away, but straight down the throat of Akhil Kumar. And Akhil Kumar has actually done quite well in the deep. When you look at some of the deliveries that have been knocked over, he's done well to cover the space and get throws in, and now takes a catch that he probably made look a bit easier than it was.
Now, I like this call. Finally, we're seeing Karen KC being shunted up the order ahead of Sandeep Lamachani and Sampal Kami. The broad-shouldered all-rounder. He's got 2 balls to work with. Be happy with a single, potentially. Instead, he looks for a maximum. Now, this has gone almost to the heavens. Long on, nestles underneath it, juggles it, and that's going to be 6, because you cannot paddle the ball back in from the far side of the rope. It should be given as 6. We're going to need another look at this, and the umpires are going to come together and have a conversation, but surely on first viewing, it has to be a maximum.
Well, Ravinder Pal Singh seems to suggest that he jumped back up before knocking it over. So I think that's the key element to watch out for here. He's in position to catch the ball. I don't think he realized that he had more room to work with behind him.
You cannot be on the far side of the rope and palm it back in. Now, come on. It has been given as 6. How has Ravinder Pal Singh not recognised that? Come on. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
I think he was trying to make the case that he jumped.
He was on his knees on the far side of the rope. Final ball incoming. KC helps it away behind square. They should get a couple. I'm looking forward to seeing that one clipped up on social media. They're going to think of a third. They won't get it. They'll be happy with 2. I hope we get one more look at this. I don't know if this is the penultimate ball. It is. Talk me through this one. Come on. As a Canadian, what's going on here?
I think the first thing is
he's dropped the catch.
Realize that he's got more room behind him to just take the catch instead of trying to save it.
So hold on. What's happening here now?
He's trying.
Now, come on. Now, Vivek, please.
It's a 6. There's no question about that.
Okay, it has been given as a 6. I'll tell you something now. If that wasn't given as a 6, you wouldn't have believed what would have erupted on social media. Great work again from Rohan Shah and Arnold Medella.
in a T20 game, so we know what he's capable of in terms of keeping things quiet. 4 overs, 1 for 13, tremendous.
Just have a quick look at the match summary. There is the state of play. It's going to be 140 that Canada will need to win. And so we're going to get some immediate reaction from the mid-innings here. We're going to speak to Harsh Thacker of Canada, who's with Manali Patel.
Well, we've got Harsh Tucker here. A really good job with the ball today, Harsh. 2 for 17. Talk us through what the conditions were like out there with the ball and that pitch specifically.
I think the pitch is much better than the one we played on yesterday. It is stopping a little bit for the spinners, but not much spin. It just stops a bit when you bowl into the wicket. But even then, if you miss your length, it's very easy to take you on.
So what does that mean from a batting perspective? You guys are chasing 140 for the win. What does it mean when you come out with the bat?
I think 140, I would say like 5-10 below par. We need to obviously bat well on this wicket, get a good start, solid base, and then take the game home. And no Aaron Johnson in the side, which means what does that change in terms of the opening pair for Canada? I think DP and Navi would open, and then we'll see from there. Well, good luck with the chase, and thank you very much. Thank you. That's Harsh Tucker.
Thank you, guys. As a business owner, you have a responsibility to give back to your community.
We hire local and we serve local.
Breakfast program, school program for kids.
Seniors bus program, providing transportation to and from the store.
Local breakfast program, school program for kids.
Seniors bus program, providing transportation to and from the store.
All new Nissan Kicks. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your Kicks.
Is giving back to the community and making sure that the community is taken care of. We do a lot of that at our temples and in the Punjabi community, and that's how I see this.
Business owner, you have a responsibility to give back to your community.
We hire local and we serve local.
Breakfast program, school program for kids.
Seniors bus program.
Good action, haven't we, across the course of the 3 matches, and ultimately right now, as it stands, we have no idea who is going to take this title. In fact, even this game hangs right in the balance. Nepal posting 139 from their 20 overs after that flying start, a 70-run opening partnership. Andrew Leonard here with you as always, and great to have Vivek Jacob alongside me. Vivek, I want to talk, I suppose, a little bit about multiple things, not just this game, but also, I suppose, the growth of cricket in both countries. Canada returning to ODI status after what's been a long time. Also, a first ever T20 World Cup appearance, although they had to fight hard to get there, didn't they, through that qualifier in Bermuda. And a lot of this success, you've got to say, huge amount of work being done by Cricket Canada, the Boundary North team, who are involved with the commercial aspect, but also that GT20, which is that GT20. I think there's been maybe 6 editions or 6 years of it. It's been going for 6 years, since 2018. We've had 4 editions. Obviously, the COVID pandemic wiped out a few. But how important has that been to help grow the game here in Canada?
It's been huge, and I think overall, when you look at it, it's the word that stands out to me is just professionalism and just professionalizing the sport. You look at players in this Canada squad now having full-time contracts where they can focus on the game and not have to worry about, do I have to juggle a second job? Things of that nature make such a huge difference. And then you look at the opportunities that these players get now, play in a GT20, go play in other leagues and earn money and just focus on cricket all the time.
Is one of the challenges, I suppose, it's very much a pop-up stadium they put in place. It's quite impressive, isn't it, the way they kind of, it's almost a Coliseum feel to it there.
Yes.
In Brampton. The Toronto Nationals are champions this year. Junaid Siddiqui, player of the series. George Munsey, one of the Associates' best leading run scorer. But I suppose, is there moves now towards, not just in Brampton, but across the country, trying to get more and more permanent facilities?
I think that would be the long-term goal, where ideally you can have each franchise have their home base. Ideally, you can get to a situation where you can play night matches. Obviously, you've got a situation where right now you've got to play matches during the day because you don't have the floodlights. You want to encourage fans to come in. If you're playing on a weekday and you're playing midday, it's tough to get the fans in. And so I think those are the long-term goals that you want to aspire to.
It certainly is big news as well back in Nepal. The inaugural Nepal Premier League is going to start this year. That's going to be the 30th of November, the Festival of the Himalayas. Got to guide you through some of these team names because they're only literally being announced as we speak. 8 teams that are spreading right the way from the far west of the country. Sudhir Prashim, who is going to have, of course, Dipender Singh Airi is their marquee player across to Karnali, Pokhara, Lumbini, Chitwan, Kathmandu, Janakpur and Biratnagar. Now listen to these team names. They're only just coming out. The fans are loving them. The Biratnagar Kings, like that. Chitwan Rhinos, of course, they've got that incredible national park there that has not just rhinos but tigers as well. The Janakpur Bolts, the Karnali Yaks. Got to be the first franchise team named after a yak. The Kathmandu Gurkhas, embodying that amazing history of the Gurkhas across Nepal. The Lumbini Lions, the Pokhara Avengers, and even now the final team was also named the Sudhir Prashim Royals. So that's going to be great to see. 8 teams, November 30th through to December 21st. Would you suspect there's a couple of Canadian players looking at that going, God, I might get drafted in that?
Yeah, why not? And again, it's about having these opportunities to go and play different conditions. You mentioned, with Canada, obviously now we're coming up to the winter, so you've got to find your opportunities to play as much as you can and stay active and stay busy. It's just not the same to have to train indoors.
Who would it be if you kind of maybe had to pick 1 or 2 that might kind of be of attraction to some of those Nepal Premier League franchise teams? Would it be Kalim Sana that would stand out? Who else?
Kalim Sana, I think, would be fantastic. I think, when you look at the T20 format, all-rounders are all obviously of great appeal. So you look at Asad Bin Zafar, you look at a Harsh Thakur, I think that'd be a lot of appeal there.
Maybe Dylan Hayliger with that little bit of extra pace, hits a big ball. Kind of good all-round option.
No question about it. And then up at the top, Aaron Johnson, when he's in form.
He might be the best in the associate game.
Exactly.
Surprised to see him left out today?
Well, he's been struggling with his form, and maybe there's some things he needs to work on. And sometimes, you get that kick up the behind, and you sharpen up, and all of a sudden you come back in the next match. We know Aaron Johnson has a lot of fire to him, so wouldn't be surprised, the next time he gets an opportunity, he comes back with a point to prove.
Yeah, just going to quickly see if we can bring you the cards and guide you through what's happening in this game. We're at the halfway stage, not just of today's match, but also just past the halfway stage of the tournament. It was a flying start, wasn't it? 70-run opening partnership for Anil San and Asif Sheikh in his 50th T20I. They played with great intent. What went wrong for Nepal after that?
Well, I think it was just the manner in which the spinners came into the game and just hit the right spots. And you look at, you mentioned Saad Bin Zafar being outstanding today, and again, he was just consistent with his line, consistent with his length, and just teased the batters to do something different. And that's when you get caught up in that T20 format of always having to make something happen, and you get a couple of wickets, Harstalker providing the initial breakthrough, and then you were able to skid through the new batters. It's not easy for the new batters coming in, and so I think if you're Canada, when you look at that, you say, okay, if you can get a start on this pitch, you've got to make it count.
First six are going to be critical, aren't they? There's the bowling figures. Really good effort from Saad Bin Zafar and Harsh Thacker in particular, and wickets for Hayliger, who was expensive but actually fought back pretty well in his second over. Akhil Kumar and Parveen Kumar as well, who seems to have been a real find, a real asset for Canada. What about the points table? How do you see, is it must win for Canada today?
Effectively, I think it is. I think when you look at the situation for Nepal to go up against Oman, you look at Canada's net run rate, there's just so much for them to catch up on because of that heavy defeat. You would not, even if Oman were to pull off the upset, you would not have expected it to be as lopsided as it was yesterday. And so I think that's the issue that Canada is fighting against today, beyond just getting a result in their favor.
Well, look, it's been so great to have you with us. We know how much you've been enjoying the action, not just back in Nepal, but across North America on Willow TV. And indeed, we've received messages from you all around the world. We think that this series right now absolutely hangs in the balance. And for Nepal, what's going to decide this game in the second innings? You've spoken about the Canadian perspective. What did Nepal have to do well in the second innings to try and take what would only be their first win over Canada on this entire tour?
I think the power play is going to be essential. I think if you can put Canada on the back foot, they've yet to have a good start in the power play in this series. And so if you can create that doubt, because again, they're coming in with a new opening pair. Aaron Johnson is out, so likely we'll see Dilpreet Bajwa up at the top alongside Navneet Dhaliwal. And so if you can create that bit of panic and get an early breakthrough, I think that can set the tone, and Canada will have in the back of their mind just how much they conceded in that power play.
Where do you see Ravinder Pal Singh batting in the team coming into the side? Middle order?
Absolutely. I think they'll be looking at him for some late blows and almost in that Goshen Jha role.
What's fascinating for me is going to be where and when will Nepal bowl their spinners. Is it going to be Lalit Rajbanshi to open things up, maybe alongside Karen KC? I think that could be a good option. I'm not sure of Sampal Kami's role. Will he bowl maybe outside of the power play, or is he going to bowl in the power play? But you look at all the spinning options, so let's just count these up. Sandeep Lamachane, we've got Lalit Rajbanshi, Dipender Singh Airi, who I couldn't believe he didn't bowl 4 overs the other day. 2 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 2. Should have had 2 for as well. They then also have Kushal Bertel, who's going to bowl those slightly slower leg breaks than Lamachane, Kushal Malla, and Rohit Paudel. They don't even need to bowl an over a seam if they don't want to.
No, and that's something they will look at, the way Canada went about their business. You look at the first 2 matches that Canada played, they went with Parveen Kumar up at the top alongside Kaleem Sana, and this time they changed it up and had Hayliger bowl that 1 over that could end up being the difference in this match. So they might be saying, hey, let's go with the spin that Canada didn't.
Okay, the good news is the action is just about to return. We're 3 minutes away from the start of the second innings. Don't go anywhere too far. This game, it could be a cracker.
TD is supporting cricket in more ways than ever. Because we believe Canada needs more cricket. TD, ready for you.
As a business owner, you have a responsibility to give back to your community.
We hire local and we serve local.
Breakfast program, school program for kids.
Seniors bus program, providing transportation to and from the store.
All new Nissan Kicks. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your kicks.
Eva is giving back to the community and making sure that the community is taken care of. We do a lot of that at our temples and in the Punjabi community, and that's how I see the store. It's the no-frill thing to do.
The new A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger.
Let's go.
Juicy grass-fed beef topped with Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips.
Let's go.
Let's go. Try the new A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. Let's go.
The all-new Nissan Kicks. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your kicks.
Well, we're all set for this second innings. We have had a highly entertaining first one, and after a low-scoring thriller between these two sides in the first clash between them, where Canada somehow defended 123, Nepal will have to do something reasonably similar. They're going to have to defend their total of 139, but we're playing on a surface that we think is wearing and going to get more and more difficult. Welcome along for the coverage for the second innings. Andrew Leonard here. I've still got Vivek Jacob alongside me. You were right, Vivek. It's going to be Dilpreet Bajwa to open up with Navneet Dhaliwal. Is that the pairing you expected, Jeff?
Yeah, no question. I think we saw a bit of Dilpreet Bajwa opening the batting in Canada's tour of the Netherlands when Navneet Dhaliwal was unavailable due to injury. And so no surprise to see Bajwa up at the top. And he's someone that is so clean in his ball striking, won't see much movement, but he's just got such great hand-eye coordination, and he's able to get on top of the ball quite easy.
And it's going to be Karen Casey to open the bowling here from the pavilion end. One slip in place. Nepal in a flying start in their power play. Can Canada do the same? Not going to take on Rohit Paudel at mid-off. If you look at that power play there, those first 6 overs, 56 for none, by a distance the best power play of this No Frills T20 Cup. Canada, they've just been a bit shy with their opening pairings, haven't they?
No question about it, and that's where you felt like something had to give coming into this crunch game, where it's effectively a must-win for Canada, and ends up being Aaron Johnson who misses out. And so Dilpreet Bajwa getting this opportunity to move up a slot from number 3 to number 1 here.
Yeah, the other factor is going to be the fielding. We saw Nepal outstanding in the field in their 2 games thus far. I actually thought Oman were exceptional yesterday, which is something that historically they haven't had a huge amount of, as Rohan Shah tells Dilpreet Bajwa off for running straight down the wicket. You would think that we obviously saw Bajwa run out in rather farcical circumstances yesterday. You'd think that Nepal's fielders will be alive, that there could be chances on offer.
No question about it. And when you look at bowling sides that have been effective so far in this series, the support they've received in the field has been instrumental. We've seen Nepal have really good moments in the field. When Canada was able to get their lone win, they had some outstanding catches. And now yesterday we saw Oman be tremendous in the field in picking up their win.
Chipped in the air, and just as we're talking about outstanding fielding, just over the head of Rohit Paudel in the outfield. It's not the quickest, but that had just enough momentum to kiss those boundary advertisings and just tease Rohit Paudel. It will be the first boundary of the chase. It goes to Navneet Dhaliwal.
As we get a look at the replay here, swinging away, and Navneet Dhaliwal goes to the cover drive, the lofted cover drive, beats the infield, and just about makes it to the boundary rope.
One of those teasers, wasn't it? A real teaser. For those who played cricket, it's the most frustrating thing because you have to sprint all out 30, 40 metres, get into high gear, and then just be deprived. For basically every seamer throughout the series, what we've seen, like that Dhaliwal stroke, is anyone who gets too full tends to get punished.
No question about it. And we saw there, actually, the lack of movement worked in the bowler's favor, where you saw one swinging away and you could see Dhaliwal get after it and go over cover. And now as that one didn't shape away, Dhaliwal just a bit more cautious in judging the movement.
Nice length, and Dipender Singh Airi can't affect the one-handed pickup. I think they would have got home anyway. You can certainly tell that Nepal know that it's crunch time. This is probably potentially where the champion of the No Frills T20 Cup is going to be decided today, this afternoon.
And it's going to be margins. It's going to be little margins. We talked about the need for Nepal to be great in the field. It's also going to be crucial for Canada to be great with their running in between the wickets. And we've seen a couple of quick singles taken in this over. And that's going to be crucial because you can't allow the dot balls to pile up in this format.
Now, this is the chance. Direct hit, I think, would have been gone, but instead it's going to be 5. Lamachani was almost coming in to try and take the stumps off instead of backing up deep at mid-on. Direct hit for me would have been out, and the umpire will signal 5 to the total.
And we just mentioned the margins, fielding versus running in between the wickets. They charge off for the single there, and the throw comes in. Boy, that would have been tight, and he would have just been home. Really well done, but the bounce you can see catching Sandeep Lamachani off guard. Canada 11 for no loss after the first over.
Tough break for Team Nepal. You got to back that thing up, as we say in the southern United States.
Well,
someone's got to be there.
If you haven't guessed yet, we've had a change in the commentary box. Vivek Jacob has left me for the next few overs.
I'm trying really hard to be neutral here. But you give me the nickname Lambu Dai. I don't know.
It's all right. I get that sometimes on air as well. We're always neutral. We love the game, but maybe we're just fond of Nepal. We want them to do well.
I love Canada too. I live here. I mean,
Lalit Rajbanshi to open the bowling. They will start with spin. We saw how brilliant Canada's spinners were, the way in which they dragged the game back. It's very
we call a knuckleballer.
But they'll still be able to bowl a fastball, probably, won't they?
Not really. They're kind of just throw it nice and slow, but it's a knuckleball. The ball has no spin, so it's very unpredictable. But there's only been like a handful in the history of baseball, so it's very rare.
It's one of the things I love about cricket. Obviously, I was a spin bowler myself, and it's kind of that. Blessing Muzarabani of Zimbabwe, or you can be a little short spinner like Dipender Singh Airi. Whatever shape, whatever size, whatever gender, whatever creed, it's a sport for all, and it's one of the things that makes it really special.
That's a great point. It is really inclusive no matter.
Bowlers of all time, Mitchell Santner of New Zealand too. They used to bowl in their specs.
Did you wear like rec specs, like the goggles?
No, just the same ones. I've seen some of them. Vivian Kingma is one of the real rarities in the game. He opens the bowling for the Netherlands. He's a fast bowler who bowls in glasses. He does definitely. And you can also play really late into your life. You'll see people in club cricket play into their 50s, 60s. Even quite recently, we saw someone recognised up in Scotland during the Scotland-Australia series, still keeping wicket at the age of 82.
I love it.
How good's that?
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, man, I hope I can still shoot a basketball when I'm 82.
Well, I did see a little video of you. I think it was at the Raptors Media Day.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody asked you just to Might have only been the one shot, was it?
That's right. We were shooting a little promo for the broadcast.
I did notice it was nothing but
that was one take.
Was it one take?
Of course it was one take. Come on. Once a shooter, always a shooter.
End of the second over. It's 14 for none.
All new Nissan Kicks. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your kicks.
So honours even after the first 2 overs of this chase. They need 7 runs required per over. Exactly. That's what they've got. They need to stay at that pace.
Shaping up for another barn burner. The first time these two teams met, came down to the wire. Classic ending.
Was that fight back through the middle overs, through over 6 to 15, before a decent finish, or particularly the last 3 that went for 9, 13, 12 and 11, that got Nepal up to that total. This is edged, and edged nearly to the man they just placed there. Falls just shy of Anil Shah.
There's that strategy where you place your fielders in conjunction with how the ball's being bowled. Worked out for him there. You know, I didn't get a chance to walk out on the pitch. Take another replay here. Just kind of edges it.
Just short.
Yep, just short. I mean, even if it wasn't, that would have been an impressive reaction to catch that.
That was the position I used to field in the gully. They were the ones you hated because that was actually the position, Matt, that I used to field in gully. I was a gully specialist, and it's the most frustrating ones, those ones that fall just short, because you see the edge. Some gully fielders watch the bat, others watch the ball. It's an interesting contrast, because obviously if you're going to get an edge at gully because you're at that angle, the ball has to come off the bat.
Yep.
So some gully fielders actually watch the bat. I used to watch the ball myself. Everyone's different. But the ones that just died short, the reason you hated it was twofold. One, you didn't get the catch, and usually it would sting the very tips of your fingers.
Oh, I bet.
Particularly with the new ball, which is what Casey has in his hand now.
Those are coming in hot.
Again, the gully position, and brilliant
snag
from Anil Shah. Outstanding. Probably a couple of runs saved.
Look at the reaction time. I bet he's good at ping pong. I mean, goodness gracious. Every run is going to count. This.
From Casey. So the reason that gully fielder's gone in is he's trying to bang away, not full enough so that the batters can hit down the ground, but that it's short enough and outside the off stump that really the natural shape of where the ball will go is there.
Yeah, the Pal gully defenders holding it down these last few balls. Little communication there amongst the Canadian batters. I didn't get a chance to go out on the pitch at the break, Lenny, but I'm guessing it hasn't changed much. At this point, that ball's absorbed a lot of that moisture and is weighing more than normal, right?
Not this early. So obviously you'll take a new ball for the second innings as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's always a new ball for both innings.
I thought it was one ball.
No.
Match.
That would be a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware, yeah.
Team, yeah. So no, the new ball is taken, and one of the things definitely the fielding side will try and do is they will try and keep it up. If you notice, if you actually just watch the ball now in between this over, so because there's only one ball in the T20I, Nepal will be making sure it's going nowhere near the ground. So even here, watch. Goes straight to Anil Shah, and he'll get it nice and airborne over to Rohit Paudel. Paudel will get it across to Gulshan Jah. And often, particularly if you're one of the younger guys in the team, and one of the older guys throws you a new ball and you drop it.
You're in trouble.
You get the scowl.
Yep.
The scowl coming at you.
Be a pro.
Good tight start this for Nepal. Boundaries not coming as Karen KC has bowled, well, an exceptional over. Only 2 runs have come from it. Canada behind the rate now. It's 16 for none after 3. Run rate into play. Every over with less than 7 from it, that required run rate will rise. And Rajbanshi, definitely a tactical change, hasn't it been? Bringing in the extra spin option. He's replaced Rijan Dakal today. Tried the direct hit, but wasn't able to implement it. Is that again something you do have in baseball in terms of you called it a throwing error, which I think is a really good description. Right. Ends up as 5 runs to the total.
Yeah, if someone gets you overthrow it trying to get someone out, you can absolutely keep running around the bases.
That's quite rare though in baseball, correct?
Yeah, I mean, maybe once a game.
And you were telling me earlier when you played baseball, I know obviously better known as a basketball, you played a lot of baseball younger. You were a pitcher.
That was my specialty. I played pitcher and first base. I was a decent hitter, but I was a really good pitcher.
What was your average, like back in high school? In the 200s?
Oh, no, I stopped playing by high school. But
you stopped playing by high school? Okay,
yeah. Right. Going into high school is when I played soccer, and we went 0-18.
Oh, I heard that the
0
other day.
wins, 18 losses, and that was a wrap.
What was the heaviest defeat again?
16-0 against Hooksmith.
That'll build character.
It will. You know, you gotta. It's not how many times you fall down. It's if you pick yourself back up. I picked myself back up and carried myself to the basketball court, where that would never happen.
No, that's a bit more like it. Finally, the shackles have been broken. It'll be a boundary to Navneet Dhaliwal. It was the attempted arm ball, the one that's just going to skid on from Rajbanshi, but it was just too short. Great length identification from Dhaliwal. He gets 4.
Absolutely solid contact. Read the pitch, the bowl. Take a look. Boom. We call that getting the lid off the hoop in basketball. If you're in a slump, you haven't really gotten anything going. It's like someone put a lid over the basket and nothing's going in. And then once you finally hit a 3, you say you got the lid off the hoop.
Yeah, I'm just going to show you as we get to the end of the 4th. Score 23 for none. Just going to show you the different grips that we have here. Alongside, you hopefully can see him. Sorry, you are so tall, Matt. The Lambu Dai, there he is. So this is the ball. Firstly, how does that compare to a baseball for you? Harder or softer?
It's pretty similar, to be honest with you.
This one's got, it's a very damp, sort of old, soft one. The new ones. And get it to swing or seam in, come in with the ball. But his stock delivery will be that one that goes that way. I can do it better with my right hand because I'm right-handed. So that's coming that way. But then his arm ball, he's going to get the finger in behind it, run off that finger like that. And that's just 2 of the deliveries that one bowler bowls.
Yeah, and you're playing with the seams, gives it movement in the air as well as when it hits the ground.
Yeah, and that's them for the seamers, like we saw with Karen KC, and we'll see from Sampal Kami in a moment. That's kind of your stock delivery. But again, I was explaining to you, this is a very old kind of wet ball. What they'll try and do is keep the ball dry, and then you saw it earlier, they shine it up, don't they? Or you can shine it on any part.
Like an apple.
Keep that part smooth, and then the air will travel faster over that side, and then it will naturally swing one way or the other. And again, there'll be just a slight angle that the bowler will bowl at, whether he's looking to bowl in swing or away swing. Lots of skills.
And then you're working with your position or in defense, the defensive positions around that.
That's
right?
exactly
Try
it.
to influence where the batter's going to hit it.
Are we going to see some wickets for Nepal here?
We'll see. I mean, as long as they can keep Canada in check.
Feels like the game's on an art page, doesn't it? Sampal Kami into the attack. He's persisting with this slightly strange around the wicket tactic. Something that's clearly been worked on in training, but that's not the line because it's into the pads of Bajwa. It's essentially a free hit because if he misses it, he cannot be out LBW because it's cut.
You have one let up. It can be the difference between winning and losing. It can be the difference between Canada getting momentum, getting on a hot streak, getting confidence.
It goes back to that one big over thing I've been telling you about. One big over can
right.
change a T20. It's incredibly rare with what's still quite a new ball. So the ball is 4 overs old. Okay, yes, it is a little bit damper and heavier here today. But it's very rare you would see a right-arm bowler come around the wicket because, in essence, he's closing off. He's completely restricting the possibility of any LBWs. So after just one ball that clearly hasn't worked, he's going to come back over the wicket. The ball pitches outside there, outside the leg stump. It just turns into a free hit. So some strange tactics from Kami, but he's decided to rectify it after one ball. And certainly, we thought we'd see a lot of spin from Nepal today, but they're going to go with their seamers as well.
Yeah, it comes down to strategy, and you talked about it probably mostly coming from the captain. Where can we get an advantage? How do we keep Canada's batters off balance? I'm sure they learned a lot from their first match to kick off this T20 series as well, applying some of those adjustments.
I think one of the other factors, Matt, today for Canada, it's the first time in the series for them, 2 T20s in 2 days. Is there any fatigue factor? How mentally strong are they? In your career, when you played the NBA, you're telling me about 80 games a season.
82.
82. What was the typical week? Did you sometimes of 2 games in 2, 3 and 3?
Not 3 and 3, but back-to-backs you would have. Maybe 4 and 6 as well. You could have back-to-back, day off, back-to-back. There was one season we had a lockout, right? Like a labor.
Yes, yeah.
And then that next season, we did have back-to-back-to-backs.
Was that killer?
Yeah, it was. I actually liked it.
You're sadistic. Your adoration of the sport.
Look, there's 2 sides to it. There's the physical side, like you mentioned. Maybe Canada's physically tired playing 2 in a row, but mentally, you don't overthink anything because you can't. You don't have the time to prepare and overthink about who you're playing, who you're matched up with. So you just go out and play, and you have less expectations. There's less pressure when you on the second leg of. For the game, so you just kind of let it rip, which I liked. Just go out and play.
Yeah, certainly. I suppose you train to play, don't you? And sometimes there's no better learning than actually playing.
Yeah, and also on back-to-backs, we wouldn't do walk through the morning of the game. We wouldn't really do film like we normally would to break down the game before because there's just not time. So from a player standpoint, I don't know. I liked it.
On the pull shot, but hurried for pace. Akambi battles back really well after conceding that boundary from the first ball. It's 29 for done.
All new Nissan Kicks. Ready for whatever you're into. Get your kicks.
It's way different than this type of situation where you're in one place for a long period of time and you really just kind of get used to it, adjust. In the NBA, you're kind of in and out all the different cities.
If you had would it be a series of games? Let's say you're playing Golden State in a few matches.
In the playoffs, it's a series, but
in the regular season, no.
Regular season, no. It's just one game.
So when you, let's say, okay, talk about heading to Miami for a game, you're going to play the Heat.
Ideally, you'd get in the day before. You'd sleep in Miami. You'd play the game the next night, and you'd fly wherever you're going. Or if you're on a road trip and it's a cool city like Miami, maybe you stay that and fly out the next morning.
One extra night. Now, there's the first wicket. It's going to be Lalit Rajbanshi, who has cleaned up Dhaliwal. Big call, wasn't it, from Rohit Paudel to keep Rajbanshi going for 3 in a row in the power play. Brought into the team, and he's the one who makes the breakthrough.
Finally, got that first wicket. See the smiles on Team Nepal. See if we get a replay of that one.
Let's get one more look. I spoke about the arm balls. That one wasn't. It was just the off break. It's maybe skidded on a wee bit. You can see there, Rajbanshi absolutely delighted, and it's his trademark celebration. That's the one he goes with.
Our temples and in the Punjabi community, and that's how I see the store. The no-frills thing to do.
Yeah, but I always tell people, don't feel bad for NBA players traveling, because you fly on a chartered private jet that's like pimped out.
I was going to say, surely with the height of the majority of the players, you're not sitting in economy, are you?
You're not going through the terminal either. You're parking on the runway next to the plane, walking 20 feet onto the plane, landing, walking 20 feet onto a bus, going to like the Four Seasons.
First slip comes into place, as it will be Harsh Thacker promoted up the order to number 3. Nepal will feel as though they've just maybe edged ahead in this game, and you can't do that. The umpires are going to have a word about that one. Throw from Mala's come in and bounced 5 or 6 times. He's trying to rough that ball up, trying to soften it now because he thinks the movement's gone. And a harsh word from the square leg umpire Rowan Shah. One bounce is okay. You can't just throw it into the muck. How many would travel on that charter jet? Because, like, I know the plane roster, what would be 10 or 12 on a game day?
The NBA's changed a lot in that regard. Yeah, it used to be 12 to 15. Look next time you see an NBA highlight, look behind the bench. There's like 3 times more staff than players.
Hit down the ground, and mid-on is in the circle, so that's a good option from Dilpreet Bajra. 1 bounce, and it runs away for 4.
Nice piece of batting right there. Has the power to get that through the field. How many people work for NBA teams now?
Yeah, the professionalism of all modern sports, quite remarkable. Rajbanshi checks his length back. Just want to keep an eye on that on the bottom of your screen, that required run rate. 7.58 is probably within reason, but on pitches that are favouring the bowlers, Canada do not want to allow that to spiral out of control up towards 9, 10, or even 11 or 12 per over. That's when you're getting into the danger zone, and it's hard to come back from. Slight change in the field. Long on will go back. Long off comes up into the circle. It's a bit of work.
Don't test that arm.
Stick to being bold.
Teach him a lesson.
We'll get one more look. Badger wanted the single, but there was no interest at all from Harsh Thacker, rightly so. So the dive got him home. That's the end of the power play. It is 34 for 1.
TD is supporting cricket in more ways than ever. Because we believe Canada needs.
Well, 30 for 1, 6 overs gone. End of the power play here. It's going to be an interesting game here. Interestingly poised at the moment. Canada have just lost Navneet Dhaliwal. And a slight change in the comm box as Vivek Jacob and I come back in. Welcome, Vivek. Thoughts on the game so far?
Thank you. We've got it bubbling nicely. Obviously not quite the power play that Nepal had, blasting those 56. But again, you look at a target of 140, you'd say Canada is in okay shape right now.
Well, they need 106 from 83 deliveries after that delivery of Sandeep Lamichhane. We know the spinners are going to have a lot to do in this game. There's definitely something in there in that pitch. There's turn, there's bounce. The ball's just holding up as well, as Harsh Thacker said in the interview in between the innings. It goes straight down the ground, and this is going to be 4 runs. 1 bounce into the sight screen. Harsh Thacker taking on Sandeep Lamichhane in good style.
And you need that aggression. It's good to see Harsh Thacker here at number 3. He'll be looking to shepherd this chase for Canada and looking to maintain that momentum. Currently going at 6 and over. Tossed up from Lamichhane, and Thacker getting on the front foot, able to send it straight back past the bowler's head for 4.
Pulled away this time. A little too short from Sandeep Lamichhane. Oh, and the fielder does well. Slipping, going down. Just getting a hand to that as it was running away to the boundary. Well, you mentioned it, Vivek. Not as good of a power play for Canada as it was for Nepal. And it looks like the opening combination is still struggling. Navneet Dhaliwal today also falling early.
Yeah, that's something that's been a bit of a sore spot for Canada. Obviously making the change today and moving Aaron Johnson out of the side. Dilpreet Bajwa up at the top with Navneet Dhaliwal. But overall, as a team, they will say 1 down in the power play. Not too bad. It's been better than the way their power plays have gone.
What's your prediction at the end of this game?
You know what? I do have a feeling that Canada is still going to find a way to pull this out.
It's a tough one to call, though, isn't it? It's not an outright call.
It feels like a final over thriller that we've got on our hands here. And as I navigate some tricky conditions,
It's going to be the end of 7 over.
We do a lot of that at our temples and in the Punjabi community, and that's how I see the store. It's a no-fail thing to do.
In case you guys are wondering what exactly it is that Vivek was navigating, there's a bug crawling up his collar. You never know at a cricket field, right? What you're being attacked with.
No. Bit of a googly. I appreciate your help in helping me navigate that. Didn't even know it was on me.
You know, Vivek.
Didn't even know it was on me until
Team player. I hate
you
bugs,
saw a ghost
but
for a minute.
That summarizes just how much I hate bugs.
Well, it's definitely not bug spray that Dilpreet Bajwa is getting on his hands right now. Seems to have some sort of issue.
It's Lalit Rajbanshi coming in for his final over, 1 for 15. And he'd love to pick up another wicket or two here before he's done with his job with the ball.
And just getting thrown straight into the deep end. Comes into the side for this match and is bowling his 4 overs straight out.
I think the other thing to watch throughout this innings is that required run rate. Canada oftentimes are very slow with their starts, especially with the openers. Both, well, one opener is still out there in Dilpreet Bajwa, but having lost Navneet Dhaliwal early, he's a bit slow to get started as well, isn't he?
Even now, I think they'll be looking at it and saying, okay, can we keep it under 8? If you keep it under 8, then you'll feel like you're well and truly in this chase and maybe even in control if you've got 6, 7 wickets in hand at the back end.
Well, that's well played. Nice and fine. It's going to be Karan Casey to cut it off, but 2 runs picked up. Really well played from Harsh Tucker.
Really clever. Staying well balanced.
A little frustration from Harsh Tucker as he wanted to guide that past the bowler.
That was short enough. Got to get at least a run or 2 there. Definitely plenty of reason to be frustrated with that for Harsh.
Well, flicked in the leg side and a juggling catch in the end taken. And it's going to be the end of Harsh Tucker. Canada have just lost their second, and Nepal have pulled us out of nowhere. Yes, he questions himself as he walks off, a little frustrated as well as he should be.
But gets nowhere near the connection he needed, and it goes straight to long on, and just about hanging on in the end was Anil Shah at long on. Sticks his tongue out because he knows that was a bad one that he could have messed up.
There's a juggling. Big batters back in the hutch. Just looking to go down the ground.
And there we see the juggle. Hand on head, but he still gets the wicket. Harsh Tucker, you can see him cursing himself, so frustrated with that manner of dismissal.
I think he's saying to Sam, come on, why did you not drop that? You juggled it a couple of times. All you had to do was let go of it.
No, that's such a tame dismissal for Harsh Tucker. He'll be so disappointed with that. And now we've got the captain coming in, Nicholas Curtin. Banshee's spell coming up here.
The new A&W Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. Let's go. Juicy grass-fed beef topped with Ruffles cheddar and sour cream chips. Let's go! the new A&W.
Oh dear. It's all happening out there.
That is definitely a missed opportunity. Going down the leg side. Bit surprised there's no wide called. Seems to have got a bit of the pad.
And over. And a missed stumping chance, a big one. It was the skipper, Nicholas Curtin. Not had the greatest of times in the T20s, but he did play a big hand in the 50 overs. Part of the run getters for Canada. And he can hit a long ball. Very powerful batter.
We saw some T20 style batting in those ODIs. He had that brilliant 70 odd of 40 deliveries that really changed the texture of that match, that batting innings for Canada. They might need something a bit similar in this innings today. As you mentioned, over 8 required now per over.
Sandeep Lamichhane itching to get a wicket here. 7 runs coming off of his first over. Harsh Tucker took a bit of a liking to him.
Yeah, we did see that drive straight down the ground. Now we'll see how Curtin responds here.
Well, this is flighted. And it's going to be a big one. 6 runs over the sight screen. A little bit of flight on offer from Sandeep Lamichhane. and Dilpreet Bajwa's on it in a flash. Correction, Nick Curtin is on it in a flash.
And you look at that, pitched up as we get the replay all day. Nick Curtin will take that all day. Easy pickings right in the slot. And Curtin goes downtown, well over the sight screen. As Canada gets their trainers out again.
He's just not very comfortable out there, is he, Dilpreet Bajwa? Something is bothering him. They're going to get up a quick drink, and we're going to get a new ball here. The other one lost behind the sight screen. And it's Vishal Sudhakar, the third umpire today. Canadian panel of umpires here.
You'd have to say they've done well for the series as a whole. Seen plenty of good decisions. Some tight calls that they seem to have got right.
7 runs off the over so far. 4 deliveries to come from Sandeep Lamichhane. It seems as if they're targeting Sandeep Lamichhane. Harsh Thakur did that as well, and this time it's Nick Curtin.
Huddle doing well to limit that to
Well, he's not quite ready to let go of that one.
Nope.
Gonna try again. Like it again. A bit fuller this time. It should just be the single. The singles are coming regularly. However, this is a different version of Dilpreet Bajwa that we're seeing here. Normally very aggressive at the top. Likes to take on the bowlers. You certainly won't find him at that sort of strike rate very often. Just goes to show the conditions aren't the easiest. It's going to be the end of the over. Canada 60 for 2 at the end of 10.
As a business owner, you have a responsibility to give back to your community.
We hire local and we serve local.
Breakfast program, school program for kids.
Seniors bus program, providing transportation to and from the store.
Look at the standings. Nepal at the top by a margin. Each of the teams have picked up a win. Each of them have picked up a loss. So this game's going to decide who is going to sit in that first place at the end of it. Nepal will want to try and continue the momentum that they've picked up in this T20 series after a very difficult time in the 50 overs. 139 with the bat today. They had a really good start between both openers, Anil Shah and Asif Sheikh. The bowlers did well for Canada, spinners in particular, just pulling that momentum back, keeping the game in check. Canada currently 60 for 2. And a partnership is just starting to form. 15 off 13, Dilpreet Bajwa and Nick Curtin together. And this is an important partnership, having lost 2 batters up at the top in Navneet Dhaliwal and Harsh Thakur.
It sure is. I mean, Canada having a lot of difficulty getting anything going offensively. Nick Curtin coming in with that big bat, trying to turn things around for Team Canada.
Dilpreet Bajwa opening the batting today in the absence of Aaron Johnson, 24 of 27. I'll tell you, Matt, it's not often that you see Dilpreet Bajwa go at a strike rate such as that. He's a very attacking batter up at the top, likes to take the bowlers on, has a good repertoire of shots as well, can play all around the ground, and he's got some power as well.
I mean, it's a critical part of the match right here. You got to think, if Canada can't get something going in these next 5 overs, they're going to be running out of time coming down the stretch.
Well, we'd always said you want to keep a close eye on the required run rate. 60 at the halfway point. They need to get to 140. You would say Nepal are about 10-15 runs short. But these conditions are not easy to bat on, and they've got a lot of spin to come.
That's right. I mean, when we hit the changeover, that was kind of the consensus amongst the analysts here in the broadcast. Was like, you know, that's 10-15 runs short. But now we're seeing with these conditions upholding the way they are, maybe that does. Going yard. Up, or, you know, really getting things going, turning things around for Team Canada single-handedly once he entered this.
Able to hit a bowler for a boundary first up in the over, automatically they're under so much pressure. You've just gone for 6 runs. Add another 2. That pressure that was starting to build, just closing in again. 72 off 58 required now for Canada. And in a T20 game, some would say that's quite easy as he goes down the ground. It was going at some speed. Good work there by Anil Shah.
Yeah, these Canadian batters locked in right now. Your team Nepal, you're trying to get Nick Curtin out of there at this point.
They got to try and pick up wickets here, and got to do it quick. Both of these batters are very dangerous. Into the gap again. Dilpreet Bajwa will pick up a single. I saw you learning a little bit about the cricket ball with Lenny. Some swing, some spin. A lot of intricacies with that ball.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me how much it changes throughout the match. Use the same ball. I mean, even the one I'm holding one right now. No one can see that, but there are, I don't know, dents in it.
11 overs gone, 71 for 2.
The new Let's go.
I guess the paint that's on the outside, the dye.
Well, this ball's been through the ringers because we were using it for our little cricket game here on the side.
Yeah,
Wet conditions.
It wasn't from our cricket game that it went through the ringer. I can assure you of that. Everything around us went through the ringer. Dented that plastic thing over there.
Oh, there's a hole in it. Forget the dent. There's an actual hole in it.
It wasn't me.
It's going to be a wide, just down leg.
Great piece of hitting. Right. I mean, there's no field. Anywhere near there. Perfect placement.
When Sampal that's gone up in the air.
Got him.
And it's Colin Casey, two fielders running.
I mean, either one of those guys probably could have made that play, so good job communicating.
And that's a tricky catch when you know in the side, you can see that there's another fielder coming in. You don't know who's going to take it. Nick Curtin goes for 26 off 14 deliveries. It's Sampal Kami who gets.
Yeah.
And well judged in the end.
That's why communication is so important.
$76 for 3, Canada. 11.2 overs in, and it's Shreyas who walks out to the middle. He's been a bit short on form in this home series. Had a really good outing in the Netherlands for Canada. But he'll be desperate to get some runs under his belt, and he'll be desperate to get a side over the line here.
Well, they need him to get back to that form right now. Big blow. I think it's different for different people. For me, I would go back at night and get a bunch of extra shots. Also, like psychologically, I'd watch, and I'm not saying this to be egotistical, but I'd watch highlight tapes of me making a bunch of threes just to like, I don't know, it just like subconsciously
I get
get
it.
your mind back to a
I
confident
get it.
state. Like,
Make
no,
you
this
feel
is what
better
I
about
do.
yourself when you could do
I'm
this.
a great shooter. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I might have had a few bad games, but that's not who I really am.
Pulled away.
Sometimes you just got to see the ball go through the hoop, and I'm sure if you're batting.
Oh, this is a tight
got
ball.
him.
And that's going to be another wicket. Poor judgment of the second run. And it's a big wicket. This Dilpreet Singh Bajwa has been run out for the second. Boy, you have to be so good if you're going to go back for that second run. Shreyas is very quick between the wickets. One-handed pickup, fired in, and he was gone by miles.
Perfect throw. Yep.
They've dug themselves in a bit of a hole here, Canada. 2 wickets in this over. In for this game, first T20 of this series that he's getting under his belt. So he's coming in a bit of a break, which also makes 12 overs gone. Canada 81 for 4. They're regulars here at King City.
Yep, just checking out the game. Seeing what's going on. Another one.
Dear. Like this time. Big shout.
That was. That was close, but again, just a spectacular pitch.
Oh, he's going.
Bowl, excuse me.
He's going for the. Well, a little frustrated. Sandeep Lamichhane.
Sandeep's like, hey, just keep it in front.
Out there.
Yep.
He's not picked up a wicket here, and he really would love more than one, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, I just always been more of a conservative player.
Well, that's the beauty of T20 cricket. Looking for the second. It's preferably both of those two that are out in the middle. Sampal Kami comes in for his third over.
Shaping up for a good finish either way.
Will be another single. position. They still have 6 wickets in hand. They're keeping that required run rate in check. But get a couple of dot balls in there. Just build that pressure a little bit.
Yeah.
Force the batters into something they don't want to do. Paul Singh had a tough outing in the Netherlands. He's been out of form from that series, so it'll be interesting to see if he's been able to. I think he's made his ground.
Yeah.
Arnold Medella says, not out. How close was this? We're going to have to get a replay on this one.
I think he made it too, but it was close.
Rohit Patel, the skipper of Nepal. Hands on heads out there. Every run is... Oh, it's becoming a dramatic contest.
What a bowl right there.
Well, you see just how
falling down. What a throw.
Oh, this is tight. I think he's gone.
I think... Unfortunately, the umpires do not have the luxury of replay.
Slower ball. And you can see Shreyas Mova signaling that as well. He's just rolled his fingers over the ball, taking the pace off of it. Moving into the line of the ball there. Shreyas Mova will pick up a single. He's really quick between the wickets, isn't he, Shreyas Mova? Just look at how quickly he's taken off the non.
Guy goes to the runner.
What do you mean tie goes to the runner?
Well, in baseball, if the player's foot
For 4.
there.
Very good over. Paul Kami. 50 off 30. Dot balls making a big difference in that last over, and nearly a run out. Tough call when you're the umpire. The track a little bit quicker from Sandeep Lavichane. And Asif Sheikh is lightning fast behind the stumps.
That's karma right there, Manali. They didn't get the call on the throw, but you know what? Came back. Look at this. Got him.
Tried his best to get back. Shreyas Mova just not quick enough. Good glove work this. Another important wicket at an important time. Nepal have started to clean things up here. Canada 90 for 5 after 14.1. And it's going to be the big man out there. Dylan Haliger comes out to the middle. Had a tough time with the ball, Dylan Haliger, this morning. 3 sixes off his first over. Never want to feel that way as a pacer. But he's out there with the bat and some distance away from that 140 target.
It's amazing how quickly things shift.
And it's just the power of wickets. When you chip away with the wickets, it really changes the momentum. His second wicket.
You can feel the momentum shifting in this match. Now the crowd's into it. All the Nepalese fans. Away from you if you're Team Canada, you know? The curtain comes in. They have all the momentum in the world. Looks like they're going to go on to win. It might change again before this match is over. So I'm not even going to count any chickens before they hatch or anything. Yeah.
It looked like they were sailing home.
For
now
sure.
the required run rates jumped to 9.
That's a lot in this type with these conditions, this type of match.
Saad Zafar coming out to the middle. Sandeep Lamichhane, who had no wickets to his name in this game, has now picked up 2 just in this over. 90 for 6. A little bit of turn. Saad bin Zafar. Lots of experience under that belt, I should say. A lot of experience, but coming in at a difficult time.
Well, the Nepal fans are on their feet. Now, if you look at the
I have a sneaky feeling they like cricket.
That's an accurate assumption. 5 overs remain.
I was a bit surprised to see Dylan Gallagher come in ahead of Saad bin Zafar, considering the situation.
Pulled away, and Saad bin Zafar shows his skills with the bat. That's a powerful pull stroke. And
that last wicket is taken.
I think it's a good shout you made, though. Haylager's power and brilliance at the very tail of an innings is just what you want to utilise, but maybe the particular case actually requires have to turn to a sixth bowler in his next over, Pedal, as the short ball is perfectly delivered because it's right about the head height. If it goes over the head height, he's in trouble, but it's a critical dot.
And you mentioned the way Paro has managed his bowlers. Not only has he just used the 5, Rajbanshi coming into the side bowled his 4 overs straight up and was
Just out to the reach of Asif Sheikh, who almost seemed have they made the right decision getting Aaron Johnson out of the team and Ravinder Pal Singh into it?
Well, Ravinder Pal Singh is going to need some big blows to validate it. Currently on 7 off 11, and when your side needs 10 and over, you're going to need some big blows to get Canada back in this hunt.
You also wonder about that Badger innings, 25 off 29 in the power play. He battled. As Casey hits that good hard length. Zafar happy to keep the strike, 16 bowled. Game continues to hang in the balance.
More cricket.
We spoke about how there was 8, if not 9, bowling options in this Nepali side. Do you turn to a 6th bowler here, Vivek, or do you go with Dipender Singh Ari as your death bowler?
I think with the way Dipender Singh Ari created problems in the first match that these two played against each other, and you look at the way he's gone today, I think you have to back him. And he's had an okay day with the bat as well. You hope that momentum can continue. And so I do feel that's the way you have to lean.
out there has just edged that decision. But it means that we're unlikely to see Gulshan Jha today for the first time on this tour with the ball.
Yeah, that's going to be a decisive call. And this is, for me, a decisive matchup. We know that Ravinderpal Singh loves to play the slog sweep. Got Airy coming around the wicket. Will it be in his slot?
What Irie will be trying to do is hide it away from that slog sweep on the shorter side of the ground. It's about 60 metres square the wicket over to the leg side for the right-hander from this pavilion end. Yeah, they're such marginal calls, aren't they, as to where you decide to go. And Nepal are blessed with bowling options, but sometimes that can be a curse too. They literally have 9 bowlers they could have gone to today. No Rohit Paudel, no Kushal Bertel, who's just doing the fielding. No Gulshan Jha, and no Kushal Malla used with the ball. He's just sticking with the 5 primary bowlers for the moment.
It's one of those days, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's going all right.
Speared in. He's so clever, isn't he, Irie? Because of his height and his angle, as a batter, it's difficult to get underneath him. We saw Curtin do it, but that was thanks to brilliant footwork.
And this is where you've got to get creative. So you can see Irie going across and keeping it as wide from Ravinderpal Singh as possible. Does he have a reverse sweep in him? Maybe get it over that man.
Now, this is hit through the covers. Paudel can't stop it, and neither can the cover sweeper. The crowd mainly cheering for Nepal out that side. They're silenced. They needed a boundary, and they've got it thanks to their former captain.
And he's a man for a crisis. If there's someone who can rescue this situation for Canada, it is the former captain, Saad bin Zafar, coming down the wicket.
Here's the batting cards. Curtin was the only one who's really made it look easy and play with fluency. Harsh Thakur had a few moments too. Is that what you want from your openers in a game where it's definitely the part of the day that's the easiest to score is when the ball is hard and new? 25 off 29 and 12 off 16.
Yeah, you'd look back, especially in comparison to the Nepal innings where they get 56 off their power play. Canada respond with 34. And that is now, well, looking around the ground.
Drama, real drama here, because whilst I was out there, I noticed a big gust of wind pick up. The umpires are going to be the ones in the hot seat here, and you can see they've come together. I don't know if we can actually get across to you what's happening, because there is rain in the air, and quite significant rain. We're going to need somebody to get us the DLS sheet from the match referee, because we don't know right now as to who is exactly ahead right now. And you can just see there that there is actually quite a bit of rain. Satisfied with one.
It's just one of those situations where they know how crucial this partnership is to their chances. And that type of risk, the way Saad bin Zafar is going, he's looked the best batter since Nick Curtin's stay at the crease. And he holds the key for Canada at this stage of the
He does brilliantly. He's going to save 2 runs there. And the throw flat and quite outstanding. Good work from him. You feel a bit for Nepal here. These conditions not easy. Listen to this if you want more. Just going to be a single. I don't think KC will do anything but just block that off. The ground staff are hovering with the covers. And there is still a delivery to go because of that no ball. Have you ever seen a no ball like that in your life?
Oh my goodness, absolutely not. I mean, as you said, that was full straight to the keeper.
It was the moon ball. I think it's literally got on the full, isn't it? To Steve Shake. He's a long way back.
That was incredible. I mean, it was almost worth 2 no balls.
Definitely shows how difficult it is with that wet ball. And let's just hope we can get to a natural conclusion. 13 deliveries left, 24 runs required to win. You sense it's another important ball, this one. They'll only get probably the single. They'll think about the second. They're going to take on the arm. Well, they're not going to need to take on the arm because of the fumble. They'll think of a third run-out chance. But he gets home. Really good work putting pressure. So 2 overs remain. This no-frills T20 Cup is really coming to life here in game number 4. There's real drama. Now, I was just out in the crowd there. As I was going back around the back of the pavilion, you see the brown roofed building there. All of the weather is coming up from the city of Toronto. That's where the biggest city in the country is, up that way. And the wind has really picked up as well. So it means that for the batters in this over, they're going to be hitting into the wind down the ground. But critically, in the 20th and final over, which, if we read it right, with Karen KC bowling the 19th, it could be Dipender Singh Airi bowling that, or he could turn to Gulshan Jha. The batter's going to be hitting with the wind. So it means with 21 to win off 12, if they could even get 8 or 9 off this over, you'd imagine that final over could be the one that's going to decide things. Sad Bin Safar has played really well. He's on 21 off 13. Ravindrapal Singh, he's taken a while to get going. These 12 balls are going to decide the fate of today's contest and maybe the tournament. Pulled away. Kushal Patel out there, not going to get there. Goes all the way for 6. Sad Bin Safar changing the game in at number 8. And Canada now for the first time ahead of DLS and maybe ahead in this contest.
I absolutely love Sabin Zafar's competitive spirit, coming in a difficult situation. Short ball well outside off, and he's able to take it in between the man at long on and deep mid wicket. Brilliant shot to put Canada ahead at this stage. You would say the wet ball, the wet conditions advantage Canada. Nepal looking around, seeing if they can make some adjustments to the field. As we get our look at the replay, again, just tremendous strength to take that from well outside off beyond the ropes on the leg side.
Goes Fuller, slapped away. Now, there is protection out there, but it's wide to his left. And Sad bin Safar. He might just be guiding Canada home here. They need 11. They've got 10 balls to do it. And there's a deathly silence in the bleachers as cheers ring out from the VIP section.
This is an absolute gem of an innings from Saad bin Zafar, going to the offside this time. Pitched Fuller by KC, and Saad bin Zafar able to split the fielders, and you can see Rohit Patel trying to dry that ball. The Nepal bowler.
This time happy to check it down. You can just see, because of the rain, the grease across the surface, it's skidding off the pitch, but almost more critically, it's skidding off the outfield. It's really sped the outfield up.
And that's where we saw the misfield as well. That crucial, what could have been 1 turns into 3, and that builds the pressure for the fielding side. Now you've got other fielders thinking twice. Do I go hard at this? Do I play it safe just to keep things down? And Saad bin Zafar, what an innings this is. What a partnership this is. The dynamic duo of the match.
Yeah, certainly. It's been all about the man on that right of the screen. 32 off 16. Clearly forcing his way. Should have been up the order, like we said. Should have been at number 7. Right, Midoff's going to come up into the circle. Can Karen KC find a dot? No, he's going to be hammered away for 6. And the 19th that so often decides the game. And it's swung it maybe inexorably now in Canada's favour. They need just 4 more. Nepal, they just cannot get over the line against the hosts. They've got the wood over them. Canada, they're going to go top of this table now, you'd surely say.
And Ravinder Paul Singh joins the party, short angling in. And he's happy to help it along its way. Brilliant swivel. And we know Ravinder Paul Singh has the power. Brilliant shot to put Canada 4 away from victory. 8 balls to go. 2 in this over. And we've already seen 17 taken off these first 4 balls.
Well, look, you have to feel a bit for Nepal, but you've got to give great credit to the way in which Canada have played this partnership. Well, it's turning it around from the most unlikely of positions. You just wonder, did Nepal miss a trick by bowling a bit more spin? You saw how difficult it was against Rajbanshi, against Lamachane. And as the rain has come down, it's just skidded on. It's made it easier for the batters. They've played brilliantly well. And unless Casey can get a dot here, maybe just give Dipendra Singh Airi something to work with. It's just 1 boundary away for Canada right now.
And you just feel at this stage it's going to be very difficult. Even if you can get to the final over with Airi gripping that ball for a spinner, it's going to be very, very difficult. And you've got 2 batters at the crease who handle spin quite well.
Nepal need a dot. Can they find it? They won't find a dot. Can they prevent the second? They will. So we are going all the way to the 20th and final over. It's going to be just 3 runs required for victory. Don't rule out the super over.
Than ever. more cricket.
Ready for you. 20th and final over of the second innings is all that remains. And for Nepal, well, they're going to need a miracle. And they're going to toss the ball to their tiger. The three-dimensional cricketer that he is, Dipender Singh Airi. There's not many sides in the world that have an off-spinner bowling their death overs, but it's a role that he revels in. Problem is, Nepal are going to have to take some risk here. They're going to have to find a way to get some dots. So as a consequence, the four men in the circle, surely they've all got to be saving that single.
No question about it. You know, if Saad bin Zafar gets on strike here, the odds are in his favor. And it's a tricky one now for Airi. Do you try and maybe toss it up a little bit to try and induce that false stroke?
They're going to be just speared in, I can promise you. Flat and quick, and this is the problem. It's gone to a fielder in the circle, but they've still got the single. That's a little bit of poor game awareness from Nepal. Those four men in there, they have to save one. It's only 3 required to win, make it now 2. And even at any 2 singles will do it here for Canada.
And that's why I feel it's a bit tricky, because if you just dart them in, both Ravinder Pal Singh and Saad bin Zafar will say, okay, we can just use the pace of that to nudge it around and pick these final runs off.
In reality, I think Nepal need a wicket from this ball. Get a new man to the crease. That's the only way back in. For Canada, it's 2 to win. Fielders, they do squeeze in a bit in the circle. It's a leg side wide. Oh dear, that's going to be that. The scores are tied. Any run will do now for Canada. They're going top of this table.
Big, big performance here down the stretch for Canada to turn this game on its head.
The rain is unrelenting now. It's coming heavier than it ever has. Rather surreal circumstances. And now Dipender Singh Airi, rightly, I can't believe he didn't do this the previous ball. He says, hold on, why are we getting men out in the end? It's only 1 to win. The cover fielder comes up into the circle. 4 deliveries remaining, 1 to win. Asif Sheikh is saying, hold on, we've got to get everyone in tighter. Any single will do it for them. So all 5 fielders now in the circle squeeze in. It's 1 to win, 4 balls to do it. And that's going to be that. Saad bin Zafar is the hero. With ball first and secondly with bat, it's been the deciding innings between the two. We're finishing here in heavy rain. But Canada, they've taken the win by 4 wickets in rather dramatic circumstances. Nepal just can't find a way to beat the hosts. And Canada, they're top of the table and maybe with half a hand on that no-frills T20 Cup now.
We may have had a bit of a debate as to who should have been the player of the match in Canada's first win of this series. There is no debate today. You look at what Saad bin Zafar did with the ball in the first innings, and then coming in this difficult situation off the back of that double wicket maiden for Sandeep Lamichhane, and then to come through with this incredibly clutch performance and innings. Hats off to Saad bin Zafar, showing his leadership, his competitive spirit, his drive to win, and Ravinder Pal Singh proving a more than able ally and rewarding that selection to come into the side and finish off the match with this critical partnership.
Well, what a fight back from Canada, not just from the position in the first innings where Nepal were 70 for none and cruising, including 56 off the power play, but also think about the fight back at the end with the bat. They were in real trouble, weren't they, after 15 overs at 90 for 6. That meant they needed 50 off the final 5 with only 4 wickets in hand. And a new man at the crease in Saad bin Zafar. But what an innings he has played. 33 not out off just 18 deliveries to go alongside his 1 for 13 with the ball. The true all-rounders effort from the former captain. Didn't really think that Canada were in any position to win the game when we came on to air, but haven't they been brilliant? They have just found a way again. They have the wood over Nepal at the moment, don't they? And Nepal couldn't find a way to turn it around. And ultimately Canada, well, they've deserved this victory thanks to Saad bin Zafar.
And hey, we talked about the opening power play for Nepal and getting those 56. We came to the final 5 and Canada needing about 50 to get the win with just the 4 wickets in hand. And you were thinking 1 more wicket and this game is over. But instead we see an unbeaten 50-run stand between Saad bin Zafar and Ravinder Pal Singh. Again, Saad bin Zafar able to find the boundaries at the right time. And then you have to say, the rain came at the right time for Canada too.
Yeah, there was a massive factor, and I don't think you can overlook that. I think the fact that that ball just got so incredibly damp made it very, very difficult for the bowlers and the batters. After 15 overs, Nepal were 88 for 4, Canada were 90 for 6. So you might think the deciding factor was those final 5. It really wasn't. The problem for Nepal was after the power play, where they were 56 for none, up until that 15th over, remarkably, they could only find 28 runs in those 9 overs. They lost 4 wickets in that period. They lost all their momentum. They picked it up a little bit towards the end. But in reality, if they got up to 150, that probably would have been enough, as Canada crept over the line right at the death. Good bowling efforts, particularly from the 2 spinners, Lalit Rajbanshi with 2 for 20 and Sandeep Lamachani with 2 for 23. But I do question the lack of additional spin that Nepal didn't bowl. Kushal Patel, who picked up wickets in the last game, wasn't given the ball. Rohit Patel didn't trust himself, or Kushal Malla either. And ultimately, what they've ended up now is a position whereby they had to bowl the 8 overs a seam. And look at how costly they were. The 8 overs combined, they went for 79, and that was probably the difference between the sides.
No question about it. I think when you look back at different moments of this game, it was about which spinners would fare better, which pacers would fare better. And now we got to look at this table with Canada picking up that massive win, are able to get that net run rate in a more respectable position. But the biggest thing is that they've got 2 wins, and that raises the stakes for tomorrow and what's to come.
Yeah, just one more look at the match summary. I think we're actually very promptly going to be ready for this post-match presentation, which might be a little bit of a wet one. Canada taking the win by 4 wickets, and I think we are all set. We'll get out to Manali Patel, who's braving it in the rain. We'll have both captains and find out who the player of the match is.
Welcome to the post-match presentation. We've just finished a cracker of a game. Canada have won this game over Nepal by 4 wickets. It was a tight contest, and I'm now going to call upon the General Manager of Cricket Canada, Ingleton Leiber, to give out the Player of the Match award. No surprise here, as it goes to Saad bin Zafar for his 33 off 18 deliveries and 1 for 13 with the ball. 4 fours and 1 6. You can have a quick chat. Sure. Okay, sure. Well, you're known for your bowling, Saad. Today, you've definitely brought it out with the bat. What was it like batting in those conditions?
To be honest, it wasn't too tough. There was a scoreboard pressure, but the wicket was not playing bad. It was just about building one partnership. We were just one partnership away from that, chasing down that total, and that's what the communication was in between me and Ravi. We were like, let's settle in and then just try to put the bad balls away and then the good balls in the gaps and keep ticking. That was the plan, and I'm glad it worked.
Well, you came in at a tough situation as well. A lot of wickets had gone down back to back. What was going through your mind when you came out?
As a player, like we're used to of playing in that tough situations, that's a kind of role that's demanded from me as well. So it's not something new for me. It's just about, controlling the pressure, not overthink of the situation and see what's the best plan to go about whatever the situation you're in. So it was me about holding my nerves down and then just, wait for the ball, watch the ball and react.
Well, you played exceptionally well today. Good win. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Nali.
Now time to call upon Nepal's captain, Rohit Patel. Rohit, tough time out in the middle. You had the game in your hands until almost the end. What went wrong today?
I think first when we started with the bat, I think we could have done better. I think the way we got the start in power play, 56 runs in 6 overs. So I thought in the middle order we didn't took the responsibility. So I think in that area we need to rotate the strike more rather than the big shots. So I think we missed on that. And then after I think again we had an opportunity with the ball also to get into the game. I think in the crucial situations like that when the last 3-4 overs of the game, you need to be very sharp. So I think we missed out there.
Well, and the bowling, typically in the death overs, you want to try and get your pacers to bowl those wide Yorkers. They went with the short ball, and almost every short ball went to the boundary. A bit of a miss there, you think?
Yeah, I think the execution part, I think that was missing today. And at the same time, I think rain was also there. It played a little in bowlers. It was really hard to grip them. But having said that, you're playing professional cricket. You need to adapt those things. But still, I think, we were missing those execution part.
And now, how does this change your game plan coming into a very important game against Oman tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. The way we have started in the ODI and T20 against Canada, it has not worked for us. And now tomorrow is the last game where we need to step up and do whatever we know in our best capacity.
Well, good luck for tomorrow and hard luck today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now time for the winning captain in Nicholas Curtin of Canada. Welcome, Nick. A big win here today, and you had everyone sitting at the edge of